the actual team there. But the Shadow Fiend will come out, they'll ban that. It's an interesting ban, I'm not sure if that's particularly targeted. Shadow Fiend right now currently very strongly just countered by pickups such as like Kenka and other roaming mids. Or sorry, not mids, roaming supports that will go mid.
Yeah, and Shadowfiend doesn't have that escape mechanism like you mentioned, and it sort of takes him quite a bit of time to get online, especially with lineups like the Drow draft that's really popular in this meta. And a lot of team fights are coming out in heroes like Huskar as well, so it doesn't really make him viable, but I'm not entirely sure it's first ban worthy. Maybe it's a targeted ban for Team Tiger. Maybe there's a player that plays it really well. I just haven't been able to watch Team Tiger as often as I would like to, so I'm not entirely sure on that.
I'm guessing it's probably a targeted ban more than anything else here.
On the other hand, we have a Tidehunter ban. It's pretty solid offlaner. Maybe Team Tiger want to either have a really strong teamfight lineup for themselves, and they just want to stray away from letting no buyback gaming pick up teamfights.
And it looks like we're going to see a Drow ban coming out as well. They don't want to see any sort of Drow strat coming out from Team Tiger here. Can't say I blame them. That's been pretty popular in the meta.
Yeah, Drow Ranger strat is actually so potent these days. Like, once you get a good laning stage for Drow and the mid, you can just start snowballing, taking towers at 10, 15 minutes, and completely control the map around 20 minutes in, and it's just very potent. Team Tiger actually banned out the Riki here. I think they're just trying to secure that mid lane, because it gets roamed a lot by the heroes like Riki and Bounty Hunter and Kunkka as well. And Riki's just very disruptive in team fights. Like, once you're trying to channel a spell, you can get smoke screened. You can also get interrupted and slowed, and even the backline can get hunted down very well. So Riki's a good ban here, I think.
There's also the possibility that they might want to pick up something like a Timber Saw that would get countered pretty hard by having that cloud of smoke, because he's going to have to walk his way out in order to Timber Chain and use any of his spells. I'm not sure if Team Tiger plays a lot of Timber though, but it looks like they're going to pick up the Axe and the Omni Knight. Oh, that pure damage from the Helix and the Omni Knight heal is going to be nasty if he gets that call off.
Yeah, it's a very classic combo, and if they play this in the off lane, they can completely destroy this lane if no buyback gaming does not really lane it well. I think no buyback gaming really needs to have some heroes that can do lots of burst damage in the lane and prevent X from cutting the creep wave. Maybe heroes like Marana were really popular because X tends to stay in lane and just stay in one spot hitting creeps. Other heroes like Witch Doctor is actually very good with Maledict. You can just start bursting him down and the damage just increases. And apart from that, I think they also need to pick up a hero that mitigates the Omni Knight in the team fights. Maybe a Diffusal carrying hero. Void is alright with the Diffusal. Maybe heroes like Ancient Apparition are good as well, just to stop the team fights from going out of control when the Axe blinks in and Omni Knight just repels and starts healing him.
Well, I mean, this is one of these things where they picked up the Faceless Void. Of course, Void getting that nerf to his Q, so he's a little bit not as great as a solo offlaner, but I'm thinking that that Lich is going to be done as a duo lane with him. If Faceless Void, say Axe jumps in with the Omni Knight, and they go in for that Heal Bomb Call combo, if Faceless Void is in the right position, he's going to be able to re-initiate over onto the two of them, and that's Omni Knight now, who cannot use a Guardian Angel, who's stuck inside a Chronosphere, because Omni Knight's the Heal Bomb has only so much of a range to it, so he's got to be pretty close to the Axe to get that off. And then you follow up with the Lich Ultimate, and that's two heroes that are going to get wiped down pretty fast.
On the other hand, though, I think X doesn't immediately need the heal bomb. I think if he gets a call off, Omni Knight has a bit of leeway, like the 3.2 seconds for the Berserker's called duration to actually position himself. And Omni Knight can be the counter initiate. Like, he can use the Guardian Angel from outside the Chrono to prevent heroes in the Chrono being attacked. So I think this game is going to come down to who gets the positioning first, who gets the jumping first, and a lot of vision for team fights. I think the vision and positioning are really going to decide this game here.
Agreed. A lot of these games, though, whenever I see... Right now, it almost feels like with this current meta, it's a battle to see who can have the better positioning, because we've been seeing a lot of Axe, been seeing a lot of Faceless Void, we've been seeing a lot of like Huskar and Drow pickups and things like that. It's a lot about just making sure that you're in the favorable position when a team fight begins, because if you get caught out, then all of a sudden your great initiation that you have on your team is immediately just countered. You have to be more responsive, there's more chaos. It's really kind of been interesting with this. No,
Yeah,
Viper.
really
Buyback does not want to see that hero.
Yeah, Viper's really strong, but I think here I would like to see No Buyback Gaming um, pan out some more team fights that could disrupt them. Like Faceless Void Chrono into Chain Frost in the Chronosphere is very potent, but it needs some kind of coordination to get it off. If a hero like Ricky or Bounty Hunter zones out the Lich in the backline, he's not going to get the Chain Frost into the Chronosphere. It's going to be quite hard for them here. And Elder Titan is still in the pool. I think No Buyback Gaming can pick it up, but I think they also have to go for heroes like Naga Siren or some hero that can counter initiate if the X goes in and manages to get two of the cores. They need to have heroes that can really reset the team fight. OD is one of them. You can banish the Axe. Shadow Demon is pretty alright as well. And none of these heroes have been banned out, so they have lots of options on No Buyback Gaming side here.
I like the Elder Titan pickup for Faceless Void just because of the Wombo, but the thing that they have to be really careful with is if they pick up an Elder Titan, their defense, or rather their supports are very, very defensive. Lich isn't really known for going on the offensive here. He's probably going to be running a duo lane with the Faceless Void in the off. And then, of course, Elder Titan, he's great for setting things up, but he doesn't have a whole heck of a lot of damage. It'll be really dependent then if they pick up an Elder Titan, they have to make sure they have enough damage to follow up with it as well.
Actually, I think the Earth Splitter is really good against strength heroes like Axe, just to get that percentage damage done to him, and he can just get finished off by the Faceless Void.
Well, I think it'll be important that Buyback Gaming probably wants to pick up the Elder Titan because they've got an Omni Knight, and whenever you have an Omni Knight, you really need to have someone with either a Purge or a Diffusal Blade. So they're going to probably be going for something more Agi-based. And leaving the Elder Titan in the pool is a little scary, although now with the Vengeful Spirit pickup, they don't have to worry about it so much as being a denial pick. But they definitely, they could still try to go something with, there's still a Shadow Demon in the pool. They could do a Shadow Demon with an Agi carry, specifically a ranged Agi carry. Something like a Morphling would be good to be able to kite the Axe, the Omni Knight. Vengeful Spirit pickup is a direct counter, usually to Faceless Void, because she can swap out anyone that's caught in the Chronosphere, provided she's not the one caught in the Chronosphere. But these are very defensive supports coming out from Team Tiger right now. Oh, Warlock pick. I love this. I love this.
Yeah, I think the Warlock pick is quite unusual because it's sort of okay as a counter initiation for the Axe and the Omni Knight, and it gives lots of push, but apart from that, I don't see much utility in the hero. Like, maybe I think I prefer it as a core, like the way the Chinese players run it, but I'm just not a big fan of Warlock.
I love Corlock. Corlock mid is such a wonderful thing. Oh my goodness. I've actually won 1v1 mids against Shadow Fiends playing Corlock mid because you just put points in the Shadow word and stats. And you just right click him down while burning him down with Shadow word. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's really strong in the laning phase, especially if he gets 2 points in Shadow Word. It's so good for zoning and harass. And it's also good to sustain to just keep your carry in the lane. If you have a soul ring, you can cast it on yourself or you can cast it on your carry as whatever you need. But they're all having lots of cooldown based teamfight on the Radiant side, no Buyback Gaming here. Like Chaotic Offering is a strong teamfight spell, but it's sort of cooldown based. Lich, Chain Frost of course, and the Chronosphere as well. I'm just worried that they might not be able to take fights without these spells, because if you look on the Team Tiger side, you have Axe who's constantly happy to fight. He doesn't have a massive cooldown on Culling Blade. And Omni Knight as well. While Guardian Angel is a very good team fight spell, it's not a necessity for him to actually contribute to the fight. Purification and Repel are more than enough for Omni Knight to be a factor in every fight. And Vengeful Spirit, of course, with the low cooldowns on Swap and the stun, and just the aura as well. I think Team Tiger is a lot more viable to keep taking fights, while no Buyback Gaming spells are on cooldown here.
No, I definitely agree with that. It's definitely Team Tiger's looking like it's going to be able to do a lot more skirmishes, whereas the side of no Buyback Gaming, again, is very dependent on those set up for the Faceless Void ultimate. Also, all of their ultimates have that pretty high cooldown. I think it'll be interesting, though, if they're able to pull this off. If you say, we have the Axe jumping in, Faceless Void follows up with the Chronosphere. Right after that Chronosphere, if they're able to drop that rock and then throw up Upheaval is such a ridiculous spell. I feel like it's so underrated. It's going to be very hard for them to get out of that. However, they do have plenty of counter initiation over on the side of Team Tiger. They've got, of course, the Medusa Stone Gaze. I like this pickup a lot. She can get repelled, which will be very good against the Outworld Devourer. OD, though, will be able to get a lot of int if they're able to land a really nice chrono, and he's going to be hitting like a truck. So this will be really interesting. I do like Team Tiger's drafts so far just a little bit more. But, I mean, it's all coming down to the what's it called? The setup, basically. I would still
Yeah,
like to
the
see
setup
a
and
diffusal
initiation.
carrier on the side of no buyback gaming for this Omni Knight.
I think Void can go to Diffusal with Manta, and we see that in position 1 Voids, and I really like the OD pickup here as well because, like I said before, it's really good against the Axe initiation. You can just imprison the Axe, and there's no spin damage done. It's good against the Medusa, the Arcane Orb, burning the mana, and does pure damage. Gets through Medusa's high tankiness fairly quickly, but it's not that strong to fight into Stone Gaze. No Buyback Gaming really has to commit the spells in order to fight, and they have to turn and fight him. And if Medusa pops the Stone Gaze, they have to turn away and disperse. And that's a really good way for Medusa to reset the team fight. And X would be ready to counter initiate and keep chasing in a few seconds with his Berserker's Call if that's available to him. So I think Team Tiger have the better, how do you say it, better control in the team fight. Like, they have the leverage. They can dictate the pace of the team fight.
I like too the fact that they picked up an Axe and they still need a mid, unless they're going to send the Medusa mid. But I feel like Axe is going to be that Ursa. Ooh, that's a pretty good pickup here. Of course, he's going to have some problems with getting called by Axe, but the Fury Swipes, of course, going to stack up pretty fast on Axe. Will be able to get healed up by the Omni Knight though if he's in the right position. But Ursa is a very strong mid game presence, and right now Team Tiger looks like they're going for the long haul with this Medusa. So this last pick is pretty important. What would you like to see them pick up that you think would just secure them enough time for this Medusa to come online and make some space here? What would you say?
I'm not entirely sure, but in recent Requiem Autumn games, I've seen Medusa played as a mid-game hero. Surprisingly, they go the Dragon Lance into Mask of Madness and Maelstrom for some reason,
Mm-hmm.
and it really just snowballs, just like a draw strat. But without the draw, I don't think that's a very viable option here. Considering, yeah, Phantom Assassin, it's all right. I think it's not that strong against OD until the BKB comes online, but doesn't really do that well against Ursa either, I don't think. So this is going to be an interesting game.
Oops, I've disconnected from the server. 1 second, I'll be right there.
Yeah, looking at this draft, I think I'm heavily favoring. Actually, I'm not favoring either side. I think they're fairly even in this. It's just
Wow,
going
my
to be
Dota
coming down to
fully
itemization.
crashed. That hasn't happened in a long time. What? Failed to start game. Ooh.
Yeah, this is going to be hard.
I'm coming, I promise. Oh, now I hope that this is gonna mess up with the in-game now. Because usually if your Dota crashes completely, you don't actually cast in-game. Ah. We'll find out, though.
Actually, I think you should be alright because I've reconnected the game and crashed it before.
I've
I think I managed to get on the
reconnected,
phone.
but not with the whole Dota shutting down. I've been disconnected, but alright. Game's back up. Looks like Faceless Void isn't here yet either. Alright, guys, well, welcome back. This is Requiem Autumn, Team Tiger versus No Buyback Gaming. I'm Caster Moxon, casting this with MP Casts. And we'll go ahead and introduce the teams. Over on the side of No Buyback Gaming, we have Yajul04 going to be playing the Warlock. We've got Marcelos, who's going to be playing that OD. We've got Ragoth, going to be playing the Lich. Misiek, going to be playing the Faceless Void. And H2O, going to be playing the Ursa Bear. On the side of the Dire, we've got Team Tiger. We've got Reese, who's going to be playing the Phantom Assassin. Copeless will be playing the Omni Knight. Renee Descartes going to be playing the Axe. Krista is going to be playing our Vengeful Spirit. And Overlum going to be playing our Medusa. And I apologize for my shoddy camera work. I have a hand injury, and I'm trying my best to cope with it for this game.
Yeah, I think it's a mid Medusa from the looks of it. It's rushing the Wraith Band with the recipe.
Yeah, Overlord plays mid on Tiger, if I believe I have that correct. Reese will be playing the safe lane PA.
Yep. That's pretty strong. Of course, I think they're running an aggressive tri-lane in the bottom lane, leaving the PA against the Void in the safe lane, 1v1. Void had lots of regen, but if it's just against a PA, I don't think he needs that much.
We'll go ahead, drop that ward, just make sure that he can block that camp. If they end up sending the PA solo against the Void, would like to see this Lich actually rotate to the top and just mess with her. Put a lot of pressure on her. OD coming forward here. He really wants this rune. He is getting very, very aggressive over here. He has chosen to take Astral Imprisonment. In comes the Lich. Going to be able to throw out just a value click, and he will secure the bounty rune. Bottom rune, though, will go over onto Axe.
Yeah, it's an aggressive tri-lane in the bottom lane, and then they're going to be running it against a defensive tri-lane. I'm not entirely sure who's going to win this lineup. I think the Team Tiger have a very good lineup for an aggressive tri-lane. They have lots of burst damage, lots of sustain as well. And I think they can, like, really pressure this lane. You said you would like to see the Lich rotate to the top lane, but I'm not sure if just 2 heroes can sustain this lane enough. And Ursa sort of needs his items because I think he's the primary diffusal carrier in this game. He's going to have to go for Phase Boots, Blink into diffusal, and they really need to get that if they want to fight into the Omni Knight.
Yes, this is a very difficult lane for the Ursa down here as well. He's got those fairy swipes, but at the same time... oh, they actually sent the Medusa, actually. Solo top instead of sending the PA. Yeah, this is a very easy lane for Medusa. So that's definitely a good move on the side of Team Tiger here. They're going to be skirmishing quite a bit. They've got a little bit better sustain here with, of course, the Omni Knight. However, Purification costs a lot of mana. So he looks like he's prepared. He's got 2 clarities on him. Same thing coming out with the Vengeful Spirit. That's very much a defensive stun. They're just going to kind of let Axe try to muscle his way around here. Shadow Word gets used over here onto Copeless, but they do land a stun. There's a heal bomb over onto Yajul here. And we're kind of all over the place in this fight. Lots of damage though. Shadow Word is a ridiculous spell. Gonna give Ursa a little bit more freedom to do a bit of CS, but he's really behind now. Axe sitting at 6-1, Ursa sitting at 2-0. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, we're evenly matched up between Reese and Marcellus. 5-0, 5-0 as well. So I think this top lane's gonna be pretty tame. I think most of our action's gonna be here in the spot lane.
Yeah, and no Buyback Gaming is actually lacking a super defensive support. Like, if the Ursa
oh, this could be really bad for Yajul down here. The Purification comes out. Axe is just running his face. He really wants to try to get the silk. Might actually go for the dive behind the tower. And Copeless is ready. He's ready to follow his Axe, but we'll just back himself out. Shadow Word gets placed over onto the Axe.
Yeah, and once the levels start actually building on the Axe and the 2 supports, like, they're chasing down the Ursa. Yeah, once the levels start building up, they have no defensive support like Disruption or like Stomp or Stuns to actually get.
Oh, did you see that denial of the rune? Yajul just went right over, was like, guess what, Omni Knight, I'm ranged, you're not getting that. Poor Copeless. Yeah, this Ursa's getting nothing down here. This is very problematic.
Actually, looking at the draft again, they have
bottom lane. Yajul's getting initiated on again. They will get the call off. They get a nice Purification on top of that, and First Blood will actually go to Christos. What were you saying?
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Like, they have no stuns or no disruption to actually get the dire team heroes off them if they get initiated on. Like, if X gets a call, they have no choice but to actually go in.
Well, that's the huge problem. We were talking about their cooldowns here, is that they've got lockdown, but they've only got lockdown if they have Rock up or if they have the Faceless Void Chrono. And that indeed is a huge issue. They've got a slow with the, you know, several of the supports, but the most that they can hope for with a low cooldown would be the Astral Imprisonment, and then they just reposition around it. Although, this Axe is maybe a little bit in the no man's land here. He's very, very far forward. The body blocks come out from Yajul here. They're going to be able to throw out a Purification, though. But these Fury Swipes, they're doing a lot of damage. They need another slow over onto this Axe if they want to be able to kill him. A lot of damage coming out from Shadow Word. Nice stun coming out from Christez. They're taking a lot of damage, though. These creeps are all up in their business. And Venge going to try to come back. That's going to be very frustrating for the side of No Buyback Gaming because they just can't seem to catch up with them without any catch.
Yeah, that was really nice body blocking by Yajul04 because that managed that let H2O get like 4 swipes onto the Axe, and now that's giving them quite a bit of breathing room to CS on the tower here.
Axe has his Tranquil Boots though now, so this is going to be a lot more difficult to constantly just put a little bit of harass on him. They kind of have to seal the deal. Although this Warlock living in the danger zone over here will get immediately called. They put a Frost Blast over onto the Axe. Will come forward, try to just push them back. This is causing a lot of problems for Ursa though. He's not farming. Like, even when his supports are doing things over on the side, he still probably needs to be farming to catch up because he's very behind here. for a safe laner to be not in the top net worth is not a position you want.
Yeah, X is actually dominating
Lich
this
is going to be dead. Rest in pepperoni. This stand-in right now is getting all these kills. Vengeful Spirit. Wards are on her.
Yep, and X is actually starting to dominate this lane. We saw this kind of movement back on the Sailor Scouts game. I think it was just dual lane with a Coddle and an Axe that destroyed an anti-mage, and I think X could be playing a bit better, like pulling the supports after with the call to the creeps and the neutral camps, so that he gets off more spins, because that's just a way to start proccing some spins and start getting some damage in the harass trade, so to say.
Right now we're seeing the Medusa leading in last hits and denies, 28 and 8, followed very, very closely by this OD. He is sitting at level 6 right now. He's opted to pick up his ultimate. The Phantom Assassin also picking up her 6, hoping that these daggers are probably going to do some crits, but he's winning his lane as expected for an OD, and he's actually going to be going drums first item. We've got a rotation coming out here from the Vengeful Spirit. Marcellus does find that, is going to move his way over. They do have a ward down here. Oh, the double damage rune though! He should just go, yeah, I'm not sure why Vengeful Spirit. Stun will come in. In comes the PA. This is looking a little bit scary. He could turn around, try to orb them, and just get the ultimate off. The Omni Knight is on his way too. They throw out the Frost Armor, and they're going to be able to push them away. Axe is... He was looking for that kill, but... He's going to have to just move out. Oh, I like these wards from the Dire.
Yeah, I think they definitely could have committed onto the OD and gotten the kill there, because he used the Imprison. And he used the Sandly's Eclipse, and I'm just going to quickly talk about the spell build on the OD. We don't usually see this anymore. Typically we see Max Imprison along with Essence Aura, and then skipping the Ultimate and the Arcane Orb until level 10. But I'm not entirely sure why OD is going for this build. Maybe he wants to use the right clicks.
Oh, meanwhile, bottom lane, we lose the Lich, T-Tours, and there's the upheaval that I was talking about, but unfortunately, it's not going to be quite enough to save that Lich.
Yep, just a trade 1-for-1 for the Omni Knight as well as the Lich. Goldswing going the way of the Radiant side.
Oh, that dagger spam must be so annoying to the Sardi. Especially with the, We've got 2 UAMs on this guy, though. We've got the Orb of Venom, and we've got a Blightstone.
Yeah, and it's sort of reminiscent of that one position for PA build that we saw recently, where people just pick the support PA and start daggering at mid lane. And it was very strong, but then Ice Rock nerfed it by reducing the range. So they're doing a similar concept by putting the PA mid, I suppose, here.
Looks like they've almost given up on... Yeah, they're gonna come in here. They need to be very, very careful. This Axe is ready and raring to go. I'm surprised that they're not just having Ursa CS in lane, though. Like, he's so close to his level 6 here. They're probably not going to be able to secure a kill, unfortunately, over onto Team Tiger. In fact, meanwhile, in mid, we see that the Faceless Void actually came through with a Chronosphere, and they got a kill over onto Reese. Got paying so much attention to bottom lane.
Yeah, I really like the rotation from Faceless Void, because heroes like Tidehunter and Sand King, Faceless Void, when they're in the offlane, once they hit level 6, it's always nice to just put that ultimate on cooldown, because otherwise it's just sitting in your skill without being of any use, and it's just a wasted skill point. So it's always nice to see them rotate.
Absolutely, you know, pick up a smoke or something, make your way over to a different lane, get yourself some kills, because especially, like you're saying, Tidehunter, he's just so strong with that level 6. They're really diving over here. They're trying to jump over onto this Warlock again. They really... This is the problem with the, with this particular setup for team comp, is that they don't really have anyone other than Void who can rotate, and when Void does rotate, once he's got his Chronosphere on cooldown, he can't really do much aside from that.
I think it's just the OD skill build as well. 4 points in Essence Aura isn't that good if you only have 1 point in Astral Imprisonment. Like, once you get the damage up from the Astral Imprisonment, you can just shove out the lane, and once PA's CSing under the tower, you can start rotating as an OD, because now you have your burst damage, and you can just start doing AoE damage, and that's really good to rotate, I think. You can also start securing lanes if you manage to shove out the creep wave, but just having 4 points, 2 points in Arcane Orb and just 1 point in Astral Imprisonment kind of makes Imprisonment useless, because it's melee range, and
Oh, they're gonna have to deny this bottom tower, but it's not gonna be enough. Copla's gonna be able to secure himself that last hit, and this is not a good position now for Radiant. They've just lost this bottom tower, which means that there are a lot of entryways into the jungle where Ursa's not gonna be safe anymore. They're gonna have to devote a lot of wards to be able to keep him nice and safe. Because when you take a look at this, we've got, let's see here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then any other place of entryways where they can just go right into the jungle with this axe, who's super aggressive anyways, and put a lot of pressure on this Ursa bear.
Yeah, Axe and the two supports should be farming the enemy jungle here, and Medusa should be farming the top lane, I think, because right now no one's using that lane, and that's just the Warlock level 4 up there, and it's kind of free farm up there that they're not utilizing very well.
See, I disagree with this. I think Medusa should definitely just be sitting around here in this jungle, taking up all of their farm and resources, because it's a lot scarier for the Ursa bear to go up to the top lane, because there's 2 towers there, so they could just TP in at any time, and he's gonna have a very difficult time trying to run away, because they do have stuns and things to hold him in place.
Yeah, but once Warlock hits level 6, he's gonna have that Chaotic Offering ready for the team fights, and now Chronosphere is back up online, and Lich is almost level 6 himself, only 1 level away. Once that happens, they're gonna start I think, taking over the team fight, because Team Tiger does not have that many team fight spells available to them.
Oh, PA, that was a good Chronosphere if they could jump over onto that, but they're just gonna run themselves back. Keep up the pressure. Medusa's just going back to farming. I think that's smart over here. She's got her Dragon Lance. In comes the Chronosphere. It's only going to connect over onto Copless, though. They want to just take this Omni Knight out of the business. Does not have enough mana now to do much more than that, and they're just going to back themselves out. A dagger will come out. This is a very bad game for this poor Ursa bear here. Seeing the axe come forward, oh no, he's gonna get taken down, and now Copla's gonna have to run themselves out. That Degen Aura helping a lot, but they get a bash over onto Overloam here. Overloam's in a lot of trouble. He's out of mana. The stun will come out from the Vengeful Spirit. She's gonna go running off to the side here. Time Walk will get used, but they don't have anything to hold them in place again. This is exactly what we're talking about. Sanity's Eclipse just doesn't do enough damage. TA, oh boy, PA needs to be really careful. Nice blink away. Gonna try to get herself out over to the side. Dagger will come out. Oh, that's going to be a very dead PA. I'm not sure why she turned back into that. Curse is going to get taken down. He's trying to just run himself out here, but nope. That's the end of that fight. My goodness. And
yeah,
you could hear him. He tried to use the Chaotic Offering during that. It sounded like, but canceled it last minute.
Yeah, he's already hit level 6, and the Medusa sort of positioned himself awkwardly when he used the Stone Gaze.
Oh man, Axe though, he's gonna get a call over here. Probably could get the dunk over onto the Lich. We'll be able to seal the deal. Gonna throw out the Repel over onto the Axe. We might lose the Omni Knight in the process, but Copla's just got himself a speedy rune, gonna get himself back. That was the fight that No Buyback Gaming desperately needed.
Yep, and the Axe got the bonus kill at the end, which is really nice considering he just died previously, so it's a bit of compensation for himself. And in the very previous team fight, Medusa popped the Stone Gaze in an awkward position, and Void just time walked away, and it hit no one basically. While the Chronosphere was used, the Medusa didn't have that much of an impact, and Axe kind of got separated from the rest of the team, got picked off by the Ursa and the Void, and from there the team fight just kind of deteriorated because they no longer had that frontliner that they need.
We actually have Axe with a Blink Dagger though now, which means this guy's already been all the way up in your face, but it's about to get much, much worse now. Especially if they keep up with really aggressive vision coming out from the side of the Dire. It's been 13 minutes and Ursa is very, very behind here. He's got himself his phase boots, he's got the Morbid Mask and some raindrops, but still no Roche coming out. And they've lost a lot of control over here for this Roche as well because they've lost their bottom tower. They do ping out that a ward got placed over here on the side. They had vision previously up there. So they'll be able to get nice D ward. Vengeful Spirit probably very happy to get 100 gold as soon as she has enough for the sentry wards here.
Yeah, and if the Ursa can actually just sneak in a really fast Roche just by himself maybe, then that would really bring the gold swing back to No Buyback Gaming side, because it's 300 gold per person. And then they have the Aegis and they can start taking riskier fights. Their teamfight spells are coming online. Lich halfway to level 6 and Chaotic Offering available to them. That would be a massive turning point if Ursa were to get Roche now here.
Ooh. PA coming right forward here, chasing after the Ursa Bearers. We have a Copla's standing nearby. He's got that invis. They have no detection. This is one brave Omni Knight just running around in the thick of things. He's going to provide his team with a lot of intel. And looks like they're just going to back off here. They know that there's a full rotation. Medusa is more than happy to just hang out in her jungle, keep up with the farming here. And not really dedicate herself to this upcoming fight. Axe taking advantage of the fact that he knows where all of the side of the Radiant is right now. Gonna go farm up in their jungle, deprive them of those creeps.
Actually, if you look at the Warlock, he seems to be opting to go for an early point booster instead of an arcane boost, which is quite unusual. Not many heroes on the Radiant team are very mana dependent. They do have the Essence Aura, so it's not that much of a problem. And I think we might just see an early axe here, maybe about 25 minutes on the Warlock.
I think in some ways that's kind of nice because it's going to make sure that he's got a little bit more hit points to deal with this axe, but at the same time it might be just a bit greedy. Although it looks like he's going to be also picking up wards in the meanwhile as well, so I guess that's the balance, but wouldn't mind seeing... Actually, what is Lich going for here? Looks like it's going to be probably a Yule's with the Windlace. It could be a casual Windlace as well. I feel like someone probably should pick up Guardian Greaves though for the side of no Buyback gaming. I know that Lich is not commonly a character who picks up mana boots at all because he can provide his own mana, but I feel like that might just be a really nice addition, especially if they're going to be team fighting like this, to have some more sustain in the fights.
Yep, the sustain would definitely be nice here. Apart from that, though, Lich does have the Tranquil boost, so maybe Greaves isn't very good on him. But the Warlock is also a hero that wants an early axe to get those 2 golems up, and that's how you start pushing towers, start winning team fights. So I don't think they have a mech carrier, and I don't think that's too much of a problem considering Ursa has the life steal, and now he has the blink, so he has enough sustain for himself. And Void has a time walk, so kind of. Yeah, Void has a time walk, so he can kind of stay alive in the fights, and OD's just an OD. So I think it's sort of alright if no Buyback Gaming opt to skip the mech here.
They need to be careful. They're letting the Lich lead right now, which is probably not the best. I would let the Faceless Void lead and pop into a Chronosphere. But they'll go up over towards the top, try to wrap around here. Smoke's still holding in. They see the Axe, though. Axe will... Oh, Ursa Bear running in immediately. There's the Guardian Angel coming out from Copless. They will back themselves out. Oh, boy, this is looking not so great for Faceless Void. He started to get very excited, went in time walk forward, but does probably not want to fight underneath the tower. And that's a bit of a wasted smoke here. I think, again, they should have probably let the Faceless Void do the leading.
Yeah, I think the Ursa blink reveal wasn't that good at that point. He's just going back to farming. Ideally, you want to get a few kills. Void leading would have been good, get the Chronosphere on 2, but then if it's not in a good position, then Ursa can't really contribute to that fight anymore. Unless he just waits out the Chronosphere, goes in. But then that allows for the Guardian Angel to come out, that allows for the Axe to counter-initiate, and I think the fight would have been just dispersed after that.
We've actually got a 2k gold net worth lead over on this Medusa right now. During all of this time when they've been smoking and trying to get a jump for a team fight here over on the side of the Radiant, she's just been farming. Axe will come forward. He won't quite connect over onto that call. But the team is more than happy to just kind of reset. They know it's got a fairly low cooldown, so this is definitely looking good. Faceless Void standing up on the high ground. He's looking for that Chronosphere. Now the issue is, will they have enough damage, though, if he gets this Chrono off? They really are dependent on this this OD. Meanwhile, back end here, we know that Reese getting very, very aggressive. Chronosphere will come out, though. They'll be able to go over onto the Axe, and Ursa will actually blink in immediately over onto this Vengeful Spirit. He'll time lock out over here onto the Faceless Void. Meanwhile, though, Reese is going to clean up in the back end. We're going to see Copless running for his life here. Medusa has joined the fight, and she will turn around here. She's got a lot of mana. She's still got Stone Gaze up, but they're just going to play a little safe. Meanwhile, though, on the back lines, Ursa will be able to clean up over onto the Omni Knight. Mystic Snake will not get disjointed. Immediately jumping in is the PA. She wants to go ahead and put out some damage, and she's going to be able to dish it with that giant crit and the stun coming out from Kurtz's. And that's going to be another tower going over to the side of Team Tiger.
Yeah, the Chronosphere landed beautifully, but the Lich got hunted in the back line by the PA who wrapped around the tree line. He didn't get the chain thrust out, and then the rock was dropped, which resulted in 2 kills, I believe. And Guardian Angel was still on cooldown, and Ursa just sort of cleaned up that fight. And it's unfortunate that OD had to die there. It was just too much burst damage for him to handle. The crit getting lucky on the PA there, I think.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Someone prayed to RNGesus this morning. Ursa needs to be careful here. He is going to get swapped if he's not careful. Only level 1 swap though, so not as scary, but the stun will come out immediately from the Vengeful Spirit. He's thinking about following up, but the Repel will get placed over onto Venge. Axe was standing nearby, and I think that was a smart call to just move himself back here.
I think Team Tiger can actually just rotate to Roche, but they're choosing not to. They know that the Chaotic Offering is on cooldown, Chronosphere is on cooldown. It definitely would have been a nice choice to just go and hit Roche, I think, before the Ursa takes it for himself.
Medusa's almost completed her Scotty right now. She's been able to go ahead, stack these Ancients over here, and is gonna just try to clean up. Would like to see some more aggressive vision though, this time coming out from the Dire. They've got a lot of control right now. They're missing the tier 1s on all lanes over on the side of the Radiant. And Pia's actually just finished up her Deso, so this is going to be really, really good for Team Tiger here. Whereas on the side of the Radiant, we've kind of stalled in terms of any sort of item progression. Radiant uses scan. They are looking, they have the same idea that you're saying about, you know, thinking, oh, maybe they're in Roche. But they're not even over at their Ancients right now, so the scan doesn't end up doing anything for them. They aren't smoked up, they're just gonna walk their way over. That's a little scary. They do have a ward that's just about to time out over here on the side of the Dire, but they will just back off after checking. And they'll find all their camps farmed. That is so frustrating when you go into your own jungle and all the camps are farmed. It's very tilting.
Yeah, they have the better map control, I think, just with the wards available in the jungle. But this one's pretty deep. I think placing it up here would have been a bit better to show more vision. And maybe switch this one around to here. This one's sort of just very limiting. It sort of stops people coming in from that side, but apart from that, it only provides vision over 2 camps, and it doesn't even secure the vision. Like, if you're farming those 2 camps and people start approaching you, you can't really spot it out with that ward. So.
Well, this is the one problem with the Radiant jungle, actually, is that there's so many entry points that you have to really think about how you want to place these wards. And honestly, you really kind of have to dedicate 2 to 3 wards to get full coverage, especially if the other team is very, very aggressive. Coplos might have bitten off a little bit more than he can chew here. Faceless Void's gonna come forward. He's got a Diffusal Blade, so he can't even try to just go. They use the Chain Frost on him, too. They'll just be able to purge off that Repel, and there goes Coplos. Maybe feeling a little too manly with the Omniscience there.
That's a lot of teamfight spells is committed for one Omni Knight.
I'm surprised they used the Lich Blast for that. I would have held on to that, because that's a long cooldown now. That's 100 and something seconds that they're not going to have that. And they know that Chronosphere and Lich ulti are down, so if Team Tiger wants to go for any sort of a push, they can definitely do that right now. There's nothing to really hold them in place.
Ursa's actually going for the Roshan, and this is quite surprising. I mean, Pia has a Deso, and they have a Vengeful Spirit on the lineup, and they're on Dire, and they have the
This
tier 1
is scary
solo.
over down here. They actually caused a rotation to come down to the bottom tower while Ursa's doing this roach. That is not usually the play. You usually don't want to bring... Yeah, they're pinging it out. They know Ursa's in there. He is going to be dead. Yep, in comes the Axe with the regen rune. He's just going to grab him immediately. He's going to be able to steal this Aegis too, I have a feeling. Although these bashes coming out from Roshan helping him out a lot. Axe actually going to be able to grab the... Oh no, Ursa actually grabbed it. Oh wow, nice timing from the Ursa paying attention, but it's going to be a wasted Aegis because they should be able to just jump right over onto him. But he's gone up to the high ground, in comes the OD. He's going to try to put out some damage by Ursa sometime so he can get away. Ursa actually does not have a TP, he's only got a Blink Dagger. He needs to be very careful and hope that he's very lucky that the other team... Yeah, he'll go ahead, he's going to blink forward, but that's... Ooh, probably not the best idea. He's gonna try to man-fight this PA. She's getting some lucky crits though. In comes the rest of the team. That's the end of Ursa Bear. Fuzzy was a bear, but he's not there anymore. Swamp coming out over here. They're getting a little bit desperate over onto this OD. He will be able to clean up the Vengeful Spirit, but the massive crit coming out from PA, followed by Mystic Snake. He's just gonna be able to slice up this Lich. Bye, Regoth.
Yeah, it was worth it for Team No Buyback Gaming up until the point where the Void and the Axe were traded 1 for 1, but after that, all these deaths really weren't good. They just kind of got split up. Ursa was up in the tree line near Roche, and then
if
Void
I was
kind
Ursa,
of was
I would
caught
have
in the middle
just
of
tried
4
to
heroes.
run away from that. That was not the fight.
Yeah, and Void kind of got caught in the middle of 4 heroes as well, and the supports were like, do we help him? And then when you're trying to stay close to the fight so that you can do something in case this opportunity pops up, but then you're just like too close and you get caught in the crossfire anyway. You just get killed off.
And if we take a look at this lead now that we're seeing coming out, this Medusa is miles ahead of everyone else. About a 4K lead now. They're moving as a group, which is exactly what they need to do. they were able to not only take down the Ursa, they took down the Ursa twice and ruined their Aegis, which ruins, of course, their potential to go be really gutsy here, so to speak, with these fightings and going for pushes. In fact, all the tier 1s are still up on the side of the Dire. For all of this action, we've still only got about 20 kills on the board. Although 20 kills for 24. Although, looks like Warlock is dead.
Yep. And that's 40 seconds, and I think they can just take the top tier 2 now. They have the Desolator, they push really fast, they have the Skadi, Medusa. He's not in the top lane, but I think he can just rotate with the TP and start pushing S5 with the team. They know that there's no Aegis on the Ursa. Sandy's Eclipse was used in the last fight. I think they can just commit to the fight. They have all the cooldowns up and ready.
Mech's coming out to Omni Knight too right now, so that's going to be even better for sustaining their push. They're already pretty difficult to kill here as long as they don't take any silly fights, so... With Guardian Angel up, Axe gonna jump immediately over here. Might be able to take Ragoth out. There's gonna be a dagger coming in. They might have been able to just go for the dunk. In comes a Faceless Void, though. It's only gonna be able to catch the Axe and the Phantom Assassin. But these bounces, oh, these could be so, so good. Nice save coming out here from Chris as he's gonna sacrifice his body. Lots of bounces coming out, though, over onto this back end. This PA is in so much trouble here. We'll try to go ahead and blink herself away. They'll get a heal bomb off, and in comes the Ursa Bear. They might be able to take down this Axe. Ursa gonna be able to clean up. In comes the Diffusal Blade from the Faceless Void. They take down Copeless, and now they're going to be chasing after this PA. She is trying her best to juke around while you see the Q come out from the Faceless Void, and there's the Diffusal Blade coming out again. TP is coming out. Medusa wants to try to save her. Whoa! The hammer getting dropped! And unfortunately, they didn't turn away in time, though. They got really greedy. Ursa, though, doesn't care. He wants to go after this Medusa. All that mana is gone. The buyback is coming out here from the PA. They'll actually lose the Medusa in the process. That's huge! And Phantom Assassin coming back in. She wants to try to get the kill over onto the OD. They drop the rock onto her. This could be really intense if they're able to take down this Phantom Assassin. She's going to jump back in, though. She's going to be able to clean up the Faceless Void. They've used the rock. The stun will come out. They're coming out from Vengeful Spirit. And now the only one who's still alive is this poor Golem, who has been summoned to his death. Oh boy. Ursa, meanwhile, in the bottom lane. What a fight. What a fight.
Yeah, I think that buyback was worth it for PA, like, because the Void tried to go for her, but if they didn't commit to it, they just backed off, then it would have been so wasted. For the fight before that, near the tier 2 and the top lane, I think it was just a problem with vision as well, because there was a bit of miscommunication between the Omni and the PA. They took like 2 bounces of Chain Frost each, and then that just brought them both to like half HP. They all kind of clumped up in the tree lines as well. They weren't entirely sure where to go. That was just a miscommunication problem, I think, and it just sort of fell apart in that team fight.
This is huge, though, for the side of Team Tiger, because all of the ultimates are down. Like, every single one of the ultimates over on the side of No Buyback Gaming are down, and they can just go about and really just kind of muscle their way about. We do see the OD. He's got the Hurricane Pike now, which is pretty good, but he needs to be careful that he doesn't overcommit here. The Skadi coming out from the Medusa will just poke at him and say, hey, back off, leave my Axe and my Omni alone.
Yeah, while all the cooldowns are down on actually No Buyback Gaming side, I don't think Team Tiger has enough burst damage to actually just go for high ground. They can't really just control one hero and just straight out destroy him. Like, you can't really destroy the Ursa, or you can't really destroy the Faceless Void instantly, because he has Time Walk and Ursa has his ultimate, so... And of course, if you go on the OD, he has the Imprison as well. So it's really hard to initiate onto the high ground, so I think they might just have to wait for some items on the Medusa and the PA and slow siege the high ground. I think that's the way into the Radiant team space here.
I think they could also get a pick off too if they wanted to. Medusa actually picking up a double damage, and look how much damage she is doing now. Oh my goodness. That is a scary snake lady. It's like Axe is working on that Blade Mail, which will be great if he's able to get a call off over onto the OD.
Yeah, and Medusa's almost there to the Manta, only about 700 gold if she doesn't choose to keep the buyback. I don't think they're going to need buyback anytime soon, and once that comes online, the damage output is going to be massive on the Medusa. Like, that's so much utility as well. You can sort of get rid of kite the enemy heroes. You can sort of purge off the Diffusal debuff as well if you get Diffusal down, and yeah, it's just going to be a lot harder to kill the Medusa once the Manta comes online.
This is pretty big right now. We've actually seen that Warlock has picked up his Zags. So that'll be a bit more helpful in fight. That's a little bit more damage, more golems. They haven't been able to take any towers though using these golems, which is a bit of a problem.
Yeah, they're using all their spells to just actually
They
barely
use
win the
that.
team fights.
They use the smoke over here. I think they're gonna try to jump maybe everyone in mid or Medusa. They're all split up. This is very bad. You should never be split up when you're all smoking.
I think if they wrap around, they can catch the Medusa, but that's a tier 1 right there. They can rotate and help
There's
the
the
Medusa out.
Medusa. They'll immediately spot her out. They'll try to get a couple clicks off. They need to get this Chronosphere onto her before... Yeah, that's the problem here. They need to turn around. They need to reset. And Axe will get in immediately, go after H2O. This Ursa Bear is in so much trouble. The Chronosphere comes in, the beautiful team fight. They're going to get a couple value bounces. They're going to be able to take down Copless. That's a lot of mana that's lost here over on the Medusa. Meanwhile, on the back end, we lose the Vengeful Spirit and H2O. He's back with the Furious Swipes coming in, going to be able to take down the Medusa. Now PA in a lot of trouble chasing after H2O. Will be able to secure the kill, but that Sanity's Eclipse is going to be too strong. And, you know, I spoke too soon. This Lich is, living on the edge, 20 hit points. Please, Tranquil Boots. He's probably begging them. Please, faster, please. But they'll be able to take this tier 1 because there's no backdoor on tier 1 and they've got these 2 golems up and running. Fort will come out because they can use it anyways. But that'll be their first tower taken. That was a beautiful fight.
Yeah, I thought Team Tiger had the fight because the Stone Gaze came out, Ursa was frozen, and they had all the rotations coming in, but Faceless Void was so patient with the Chronosphere, and then the Golems actually just completely sealed the deal. They did so much damage in a short amount of time.
Yeah, I was so nervous because they weren't jumping on the Medusa right away. But, you know, she got the Stone Gaze off, and once the Stone Gaze is down, if he can land a Chronosphere with, like, the Axe and everybody inside it, it's just cake. And that's,
yeah, the
again,
chain
like we
thrust is
talked
so much
about.
damage.
Yeah, well, this is what we talked about, is that they've got, you know, it's kind of a wombo combo draft coming out from No Buyback Gaming, but if they're able to get it off, it does a lot of damage. Now, the only issue with this is that they've got cooldowns now. So they need to take some time, just kind of farm up again and wait for their cooldowns to be completed.
I don't think that's too much of a problem as long as they don't get caught out or forced into a fight, because all the lanes are sort of pushed out in favor of No Buyback Gaming, and then I don't think they just have a chance to fight, because if they do, they can just fall back onto the high ground. They have decent high ground defense. Lich and the Warlock as well, and the OD just does so much burst damage with the Astro as well as the Arcane Orb. I think they can just hold high ground while the 2 cores on Ursa and Void the split push, so I think they just have to watch out for that.
Oh, they spot out the Ursa Bear here. They want to try to grab him. He's going to be able to run himself back. He's got phase boots. This Lich is in the danger zone, though. He is going to get forced forward. Dagger will come in with a mighty crit. Oh, boy. There was a Lich there once upon a time. TKA not going to get as lucky, though, over here. Does not have anything for bashing or anything like that at this time. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, if Lich didn't get caught out there, I don't think they could have taken the high ground, but I think this is going to transition into a high ground siege for Team Tiger, and OD now has to desperately split push top, and we'll have to rotate back soon because he doesn't have a choice. I think if Lich was there, he could just frost armor the tower and just slow down the siege by quite a bit.
Look at Medusa, just with this Dragonlance, she's able to sit so far back here, have her frontliners just sit at the ready. Rock will get dropped. There's a nice Chronosphere coming in. It's only going to connect over onto Overlord, though, and he's taking a lot of damage in this back end. There's a lot of damage coming out from the OD, and there's the upheaval we talked about here. Overlord trying to run himself away. He has no more mana, though. He might have overcommitted. Nice swap coming out. Going to be able to save him. They're still giving chase, though. He's going to try to grab this Medusa. He needs to get the Astral Imprisonment off. We'll be able to grab it. In comes the PA from the back end. We're also seeing the Vengeful Spirit hiding herself in the trees. Actually going to be able to TP herself out. They try to grab her in time, but it's not going to quite be enough. And that's Medusa and Axe both down. That's going to translate into at least another tower, if not 2 here.
And not only the tower, actually, another objective to consider is the Roshan, and they have an Ursa which can do Roshan fairly quickly. It's back up, and of course Outworld Devourer as well does Roshan very well. If they take the tier 2, or they force out a glyph, they can just go for the Roshan straight away and just secure that. And that kind of transitions into the next team fight, where they have the Aegis available. And that just makes it easier for them to hold high ground to take fights favorable to them.
Oh, Copless, he's got the heal off, and in comes the Axe. He's going to be able to save Copless. He's going to be able to get the kill over onto Faceless Void, but look at this OD. He's just taking all of their int. He's up to 56, 50, 60, 64 in stolen. He is hitting like a truck right now. They'll turn back around. They'll focus their attention onto the tower. OD, man,
down,
what an outstanding dude.
Yeah, and the axe is down, but the Omnia has the buyback, and they're choosing not to siege the tower because
Oh, there's that Roche
the
objective
glyph
like
is
we talked
down.
about.
Yeah, the glyph is down on Dire Team actually. They could do some significant amounts of damage onto the tower, I think, but they're just gonna opt to rotate to Roshan.
I think they're thinking that the Faceless Void isn't with them anymore. They might want to wait for him to come back up, use another Chronosphere, and really do his maximum damage and go high ground in the next push, so... I don't hate this idea. In fact, they're still looking to push for this tower anyways. They've taken the Roche, and the rest of the team isn't quite in position for this bottom tower.
I think they're just shoving the lane in, that's all.
Not a bad choice, though, either way.
And one thing about the Medusa is that the mana shield, while it does improve your effective HP, also if you get chronoed while you have mana shield on, you're going to take a lot of damage. And then once that happens, you're going to lose a lot of mana. And what can happen in that case is that you don't have enough mana to cast your Stone Gaze, which is what happened on the Radiant middle high ground. He got chronoed, took lots of damage, but then wasn't able to get the Stone Gaze off. And that really just led to them not being able to escape very well. The PA managed to get out, but then the other supports and the Axe had to pay for their lives. And I think Medusa died in that fight as well, so the mana shield can sort of be a problem if it kind of gets used against you.
Faceless Void's actually out of diffusal charges at this point. Probably need to see him go for an upgrade, because he's used it quite a bit in these fights here. It's been pretty important. Looks like we're going to see a refresher coming out for the Warlock as his next item. That'll be pretty important, too, for these fights. It's interesting because it seemed like Team Tiger had a really definitive lead early on, but we've got a Sheepstick now completed over on the OD. He's hitting like a truck. Still really would love to see a BKB picked up on him, just so that way he's not locked down into place or getting heal bombed and stuff. I know it's not necessarily the best when you've got an Axe Call that can go right through. You've got the Medusa Stone Gaze that goes through as well. And PA does most of her damage. It's just physical, obviously, but I feel like being locked down is really, really important for this OD to avoid.
I don't think they have much lockdown that can be mitigated with a BKB. I think what OD needs is like a Blink Dagger, so that you can just position yourself constantly throughout the fight, and if you get initiated on, you can just imprison yourself, blink out to a better place, and then just continue the fight from there.
We've got a smoke here. They don't have any aggressive wards really other than the one over on the Axe here in mid. So I'm not sure exactly where they're heading. They didn't even use a scan. They have set the Faceless Void front and center. He does have that Diffusal Blade. They're looking over at mid though. They're gonna run into the Vengeful Spirit. That's not gonna be too much of a problem in OD. Rather not OD. Our Faceless Void being very, very patient, realizing that they might try to counter initiate. He's gonna hang out with his Chrono and just be invisible for the time being. I like this really aggressive vision coming out from the side of the Dire, though. Would like to see more of it coming out from the Radiant. Invis Rune picked up by this Faceless Void. I'm interested to see if they're going to try to keep pushing this lane, if they might rotate. Well, all their other lanes are actually pushed in.
Yeah, and Medusa doesn't have travels, but I think it's definitely not a good idea to push when your lanes are pushed in. Because if it goes wrong and you die on the enemy high ground, you can just get yourself wrecked straight away. So
it looks like we sent the Warlock back to go deal with some of this wave clearing, and the rest of the team just gonna kind of hang out in the jungle. They need to be careful. They don't have any real vision, and Lich is in the danger zone here. Will be able to run himself out, though. Looks like they're checking for the Roche. Not quite up yet. They just did that.
yeah, Medusa's getting really strong. It's gonna opt to go for the butterfly here, I think. And once that's up, that's gonna be so much damage coming out. No one on the Radiant team has built a BKB for the PA either,
Faceless
so I think that's a really good pickup.
Ooh, he gets called immediately. Will be able to use his Q, time lock himself out. He does have the Chronosphere if he needs to use it defensively. Obviously, he probably doesn't want to do that, but they'll know now that they have vision on top of the eye spot. And OD is also going to just have to TP himself out. There's one creep giving away the fact that he's leaving, but they're not going to be able to catch him.
I think we just have to watch for some extra item timings. I think one of the cores on Radiant have to go for an MKB. Ursa built into a Hex, which is alright to control the Axe or the Medusa, and maybe even the PA. The PA still hasn't opted to go for a BKB, surprisingly. I think BKB is really worth it this game because OD kind of just does nothing towards the BKB hero.
Well, I think they're counting on Copeless for the most part to be able to put up the repel, but you have to keep in mind it can be purged off with a diffusal blade, so it's not really, it's a good substitute for a BKB early on, but I still think in this case PA should probably pick one up.
Yeah, and the other thing is repel just got nerfed recently in 6.88E, and Copeless
Everything.
only
What
has
didn't
1
get
point.
nerfed in 6.8?
Yeah, and he only has 1 point in repel, so it doesn't last that long. It's only 4 seconds, and it has a downtime of 10 seconds. So you can't really rely on it to consistently be consistent in a team fight. It's less than a 5-second BKB charge, and I don't think that's very viable. So I think PA needs to pick up her own BKB at some point in this game.
I'd agree. And Axe is making his way over here. He knows that the OD is standing nearby. He does have the blink. Might be able to jump over, get the call if he does get the call. And Faceless Void, though, standing in the back end here. That's so much damage coming out. He gets the... Oh, he walks into it. That's going to be a very dead Axe. Vengeance is belonging to Marcellus over here. Copeless also will get taken down. There's a lot of damage coming out from this Medusa with the Scotty. She still has Stone Gaze up. They could opt to go in on this. Meanwhile, though, Ragholt, he was looking at going, there's another dagger to the face that is just going to absolutely ruin him. And Faceless Void, he's got the Q up. Again, Buyback coming out from the Axe. There's the sheep coming out over onto Overlord, but they're going to be able to clean up the Ursa Bear here. They use the Stone Gaze. They need to turn themselves away. Reese is a sheep. They'll be able to heal up the OD. A swap will come out over onto the other end, and this is not looking very good now for the side of the no Buyback team. Axe will get the dunk off. Warlock trying to stay there, be with his OD, but OD will get taken down, and that's a team wipe. That's a lot of cooldowns as well.
Yeah, I think that was just miscommunication. Like, Void was out of mana, he was trying to run away, OD couldn't fight anymore. And for some reason the Ursa blinks in from behind instead of just backing off and revealed the Hex onto the Medusa, but couldn't finish off the Medusa. They just got counter-initiated, buybacks coming out from X, and then just clean up the fight from there. So Ursa, I think, just went into a really bad fight without consulting his teammates, is what I believe happened.
Feels like them getting caught out caused a little bit of panic too as well. The fact that, Axe was able to get that call. Faceless Void was being very patient. He's like, oh, okay, the rest of the team will probably jump in. And they did, but then after the Chronosphere went down and because they didn't have the damage to throw in from the Lich and such, it just quickly got out of their hands. Another dagger coming in. OD does not want to take that dagger to the face. A buyback will come out from the team. No buybacks. What is this? Lies. But they will be able to defend their racks. They did lose their tower in the meanwhile, though.
Casting this game, I feel scammed by this team.
Like 5th ban Tinker, no 5th ban on Tinker, what the what? Report?
But yeah, the last fight, they actually managed to disengage, I think. After the Chronosphere, they killed the Axe, they killed the Omni, and they could have just backed off, but Ursa just went in a bit too early. Abyssal Blade being finished off on PA gives a bit of more tankiness, a bit more utility. Can sort of start locking down the Ursa, but apart from that, I think he still needs his BKB to stay alive. I mean, in that last fight, Omni Knight died without getting the repel on, and he got caught in the Chronosphere, so I think it's always nice to have an extra backup in case things go wrong.
This Medusa has a butterfly now, too. She's completed it. Look how fast she's hitting.
Yeah, I think the next item on her
agenda
agenda will be
too.
Dragonlance.
This is going to be huge. It looks like the Dire are actually positioning themselves around the Roche Pit. They know that it's going to be coming up soon. They want to make sure that they're the first ones to get in there. Same thing coming out from the Radiant, though. It looks like they're going to push out this bottom lane. All their other lanes are pretty pushed out, but that's going to be a pretty big objective for them. So this next fight is going to be pretty epic.
I don't think Team Tycoon can fight in the Rush Pit. I mean, considering the lineup, no Buyback Gaming has a superior team fight just because of the AoE spells.
They're
Apart
going for
from
the
that,
smoke.
depends on who gets initiation.
I think they're going for a yeah, they're definitely going for the gank first, and that way they can secure themselves that Roche, especially if they're able to take down the Faceless Void, or of course the Lich. Smoke will get popped immediately, the swap will come out, and that'll be a very dead Warlock here. Roche will respawn in a second. Oh man, are they gonna go in? They're gonna check? There it is. Now this is a little precarious just because they do still have the Faceless Void that's up and running. If Void really wanted to be cheeky, he could try to do some jumping in over here and steal this, but I don't know if they're going to be able to get there. In fact, it looks like they're just choosing to ignore it completely.
Yeah, they definitely know because they have the Observer's Ward in the area, but without the Warlock ulti, they can't really contest that well. I think it's the right decision to just give it up.
And Cheese will get picked up by the Medusa, and Phantom Assassin will be able to get herself the Aegis, so she's going to be running in there with her face, with this Abyssal Blade. This is actually very, very scary. Moonshot has been picked
Yeah,
up on the OD now.
I think they just push out the side lanes and just go mid and try to get those racks down. And if they win a team fight, it's at least 2 racks guaranteed because they recently just used the buyback to defend the bottom high ground. So no buyback gaming actually doesn't have buybacks anymore at this point. And if they lose a team fight, it's 2 racks is guaranteed mid and bottom.
Mm-hmm. This Medusa is so tanky and is pretty difficult to kill. So when you couple that with the fact that she's got Cheese on top of this, oof. What a target, man. Who do you even go after? You've got to go after, like, the back line. You probably have to focus maybe the Omni Knight so he can't get his ultimate off and all the healing sustain, or, like, the Vengeful Spirit. But it's going to be so difficult to fight your way through, first of all, an Axe, who was terrifying and tanky. You've got the Medusa, who was pretty darn near unkillable. And this Phantom Assassin, who's just going to have all the damage in the world coming at your face. Plus an Aegis.
Yeah, and one thing that we haven't mentioned at all this game is Fatal Bonds. And
Haven't
just
seen
quickly
them that
to talk
much.
about that spell. If he managed to get on like maybe 4 or 5 heroes, that's a lot of teamfight spells that's gonna go around. Like there's the Sanity Eclipse, there's the Chain Frost, there's the Golems, and of course the Ursa. Just attacking one hero is gonna spread the damage to all of them. And if the Fatal Bonds lands correctly, I think Radiant team have a lot of chance to just win a fight off that one spell. I think it's a bit underrated in this lineup, to be honest.
I would like to see him throw it out more, though. I feel like he hasn't really been taking advantage of Fatal Bonds that often. I mean, I might have missed it, but no, that's definitely a good point. That'll definitely help spread out even more damage, especially if they're inside that Chronosphere.
Yeah, I think that's the only hope of holding high ground here, just to get an amazing chrono and team fight and spare all the damage. I don't think they just try to focus one hero at this point, considering their lots of team fight spells. I think they have to just spread out the damage on all the heroes and then OD just attack each hero and start cleaning up, and same with the Ursa.
No, this is actually huge right now, though, because you've seen in the top lane, PA has shown herself. Obviously, you have to be looking at the creeps to know this, instead of just the minimap, but she's shown herself top. They could try to go for a smoke cake and pick them off while they're only 4. However, now PA is going to show herself over in mid. She does have boosted travel, but they know that she's got a cooldown on that. So that might have been a good time for them to try to get a smoke, try to get some sort of a pick off. Granted, again, they're very, very tanky, they're very hard to kill, but that might have been one of their best chances at that point, knowing that the PA was no longer with the group. They've regrouped, though, now. They have already spotted out that Ursa and the OD are in the top lane. So PA actually just going to run right into base here. Go after this Warlock, Abyssal him, and just try to slice him in half. Again, there's the time that is coming out. They drop the rock on just the PA. Oh, I don't know, that was the call. Again, PA has this Aegis. The swap will come out, and that's going to be the end of Krista's, though. That could be very, very good for the side of no buyback. Medusa will use Stone Gaze, and they'll pop the ultimate over here, coming out from the Lich. They won't turn away in time. H2O is dead. Omni Knight going to be able to pop his ultimate. Lots of damage coming out onto the onto the OD. Ragov will get taken down as well. The buybacks are coming out now by the dozen, but we have no ultimate on any of these guys except for the Faceless Boy. The Bashes will come out. That's a nice call coming out from the Axe. He's now in a little bit of trouble here. Ursa's putting out a lot of damage. Another Bash going to come out here. They'll be able to take down the Ursa, and this Axe is living on edge. They give him the cheese. He'll be able to heal himself up, and it's like none of that ever even happened.
Yeah, the buyback on Void
They're going for the end.
And the Ursa.
They're just going to focus us two. Yeah, there's the GG call.
It's going to be a GG call.
They're
once
just...
the Void came back without the Chrono, it wasn't very potent, so the buyback didn't really help that much, and that's just led to the end, I guess.
So Team Tiger are going to be able to take the first game of the series with a ridiculously tanky lineup and a lot of damage coming out from that PA. We will be back with game number 2 very shortly, guys, so stick around. Alright guys, welcome back. This is Requiem Autumn, Team Tiger versus No Buyback Gaming. First game of the series went over to the side of Team Tiger. I'm your caster Moxie. I'm casting this over at my Twitch, twitch.tv/LittleMissMoxie if you want to join the Twitch chat. I'm joined today with MPCast as my co-caster, and I'm looking forward to seeing some high-level play of Dota here.
Yeah, last game was just well executed by both teams. I think it's the draft that won them over. They had the better late game on Team Tiger. But yeah, very well played by both teams, and just looking forward to what they're going to bring to the table for game 2.
What was so interesting about the last game was the fact that No Buyback was looking like they were pretty much on the ropes early game. They started to make a comeback towards that mid-game. They were taking some really nice team fights with that Chronosphere and all of their ultimates. But in the end, Team Tiger they were too tanky, they had too much damage, and of course they were able to secure that last Roche with the cheese. So a valiant effort on the side of No Buyback Gaming, but unfortunately Team Tiger ran away with it. And different bans coming out this time around, so I'm not sure if they've got different drafts that they're thinking about specifically. The Void actually going to get a respect ban here on the side of Team Tiger. But I don't think we had the Slardar ban last time, and I don't think we had an Ember ban last.
Last time it was the first Shadow Fiend ban, followed by Drow. So
That's right.
Not entirely sure where they're going with this. Void, of course, deserved a ban after that last game.
Oh yeah, he set up a lot of
Actually,
really nice initiations for the side of Team No Buyback Gaming.
I'm surprised the Amber Spirit is banned out. I think maybe they're looking to go for some Illusion draft. I know Illusion spam is a very popular strategy in this meta. The Shadow Demon, Terrorblade, and Drows, all those stuff. Luna as well, of course, Juggernaut. I think they might just go for something like that in this game so that the Ember's out. Either that or the other alternative is Summons, and if they go for a lot of summons like Broodmother or Chen, then it's always good to ban the Ember out. So that's probably what we're going to see here.
Phantom Assassin's gonna get a respect ban as well. They don't want Reese on the Veiled Sister again. They could obviously go for something. Granted, the Drow's not banned out right now. They could pick up a Shadow Demon. They could pick up a Drow. They could pick up a Morphling. Something like that. Of course, Sven will still be in the pool if they're going for Illusion base. Oh, yes! Copeless Io. You better do me proud on this, Copeless. Or else I'm gonna be very disappointed.
Wizard is actually such a strong hero, but I haven't seen it this much in the Requiem Autumn tournament, mainly because it's hard to play at an amateur level. But in professional levels, I think it's really strong. It gives so much mobility and sustain as well. You can go mid, help win the game, or you can just go off lane, just sustain the off laner. Like with a hero like Bristleback, it's just so hard to kill after that. I think Team Tiger might be running the similar strategy as last game, where they put a high sustain hero like Omni Knight or Wisp, with a really strong offlane like an Axe, and then just dominate the offlane. So that might be what they're going for here.
We've got a Dazzle pickup. They could pick up Axe again. It did a lot of work for them last game over on the side of Team Tiger, and it will also negate the Shallow Grave coming out from Dazzle if they wanted to. Not sure if that's necessarily going to be what they're going for. Of course, they could go for something. Oh, Io Huskar. I love this combo. Not to play against, obviously, but as an IO player, that's so much fun.
And the Huskar pick is actually so good here because on No Buyback Gaming we've already revealed 2 supports, and neither of them are AA because they're not blue. So it's really good. The AA that's really good against the IO and the Huskar lineup are not available to them. Alternatively, they don't have that much what else like damage that could really destroy the Huskar in the game. They don't have burst physical damage that you see in some supports. Maybe like Elder Titan that can really bring the HP of the Huskar down, as well as reduce the armor and magic resistance of the Huskar to help kill him. So picking these 2 supports in the first phase is kind of limiting No Buyback Gaming's draft by quite a lot. Now they're going to have to pick cores around the Huskar. They're going to have to pick up cores that can counter the Huskar in fights, and they might or might not have heroes that are very comfortable with their players that really fill the role. So yeah, I think it's very limiting in that sense.
I'm wondering if they didn't see the Huskar coming at all, just because of the fact that, you know, they went with supports that are... Lion's defensive, but it can also be very aggressive, I guess. But the Dazzle, too, is going to kind of be rooted in lane, and doesn't have really great capability of taking down the IO. They could also go for something like an Oracle if they want to be very defensive on the side of Team Tiger. Oracle is fantastic with Huskar as well. Might be too many eggs in one basket, though, if they do something like that. Stuns are always great. Like, they could pick up an ogre if they wanted to, but yeah, by picking up these two supports in the first phase, I think Buyback Gaming has kind of painted themselves into a little bit of a corner here.
I think Buyback Gaming actually wanted the Huskar for themselves. I mean, if you look at the first phase bans, they banned out high physical DPS like Phantom Assassin and Slardar. Like, it does so much burst physical damage, and removing them and picking up the Dazzle, I think they were aiming for the Huskar themselves. But now, because they removed the two heroes, they don't have those heroes available to them, which are really good counters against the Huskar. Like, you just want to burst them down with physical damage. The only other alternative I can think of is either an Ursa or a Juggernaut that would really do well against the Huskar. And
the Ursa's just, it's too easy to kite. That's the issue with the Ursa pickup here.
Yeah, and I think the Omni Slash is the best, but with the IO, you can kind of just relocate the Huskar out if you get Omni Slashed. And I don't think that's very viable at this point.
I'm actually so surprised that, you see an IO pickup. If I see an IO pickup, I generally think, okay, grab a Witch Doctor, because IO's gonna have to be next to a hero to keep them alive. So if you're able to have a Witch Doctor, you're gonna be able to throw a cask out and kind of perma-stun them for, depending on how high level your cask is. But that's such a good hero to go against. Plus, it still gives you some sustain, obviously, with the ability to have that healing, the Voodoo Restoration, and then it's got a really nice ultimate on top of that, so I'm really surprised they went for the Dazzle, unless, like you were saying, they're thinking about picking the Huskar out for themselves. But the Axe coming in now, it's gonna put a monkey wrench in their plans.
Yeah, I think Team Tiger just really loves that off-lane aggressive playstyle. They're just going to try to shut down the Juggernaut if it's the safe lane in the safe lane, and then, yeah, Juggernaut being picked up by no Buyback Gaming, that's the default response to the Huskar. It's fairly good against Axe, just that burst damage, but Axe has lots of high armor, so that's a questionable pickup. Doom pickup, I actually really like this, because once Doom gets the Aghanim Scepter, the break comes into effect with the ultimate, and it's good against breaking the counter Helix on the Axe, good against breaking the Berserker's Blood on the Huskar. I think it's a very nice pickup, but I'm not sure how the laning is gonna go.
I don't like the Doom pickup. Anymore. I'm not super keen on it, because it's gonna take him a long time to get that Ags, honestly. Unless he starts to snowball in some case, but Doom's not really the fastest farmer. He's got the Devour, which is pretty nice. But right now until he gets an Ags, I guess currently the best target would be dooming the IO. But then you still got these other two, and this is a weird random lore related question. Isn't Huskar and Axe, aren't they cousins?
I'm not entirely sure. I'm not.
Really I actually I don't know if that's a thing or not. But I was like, oh, look at this cousin strat. But again, you've got these two other very, for lack of a better term, manly characters that are going to be all up in your face with their machismo, who are going to be wrecking havoc, jumping after your line, jumping after your Dazzle, throwing out burning spheres everywhere, and it's, I don't know, I'm not crazy about this Doom pickup. I understand what he wants to do with it, but
you can sort of play Doom like a Tidehunter, like you just go in lane, you just hit level 6, and then you just smoke up, rotate somewhere, use the Doom, continue farming jungle while Doom is on cooldown, and just keep rotating with Doom, and I think that's just how you play it. Apart from that, you don't really need Doom Aghanims very early on in the game, at least not until 15 to 20 minutes earliest, because Berserker's Blood, you don't want to put maximum points in that. I think you just go for a 1-2-2-1 build on Huskar, just to give a bit of balance. And Axe, while the counter Helix is very strong, you don't really need to urgently disable it. Especially if you have heroes like Shallow Grave and you have the Weave. So the physical damage aspect is just quite boosted on the No Buyback Gaming. And you can kind of deal with the Axe's high armor in that sense as well. I think the most important thing is to prevent the IO and the Witch Doctor from keeping the hero sustained, the frontline sustained, and especially the Witch Doctor from dishing out the physical damage with Death's Ward. As long as they can accomplish that, I think No Buyback Gaming will not get overwhelmed. I mean, it's not going to be an easy fight, but they won't be overwhelmed and completely destroyed in fights, I think.
Oh, Disruptor is Axe's cousin. And maybe Undying?
Undying's a warrior that got sent into a pit of hell and just gone crazy, apparently.
Maybe related to Axe. I mean, Axe as a warrior is pretty crazy, too. But yeah, Disruptor is definitely his cousin. That's interesting.
I think Huskar is a troll.
Yeah, I think that's correct. I think that's true. I don't know why. For some reason I thought, I don't know, I guess it doesn't really matter, but they still need to...
Well, they do have... They do have the same eyes. If you look at them, they're
Oh,
both
that's
yellow
racist,
eyes.
man. You can't say that.
I mean, if they have same eyes, that like kind of implies similar genetics, doesn't it?
Racist. Racist. Everybody report MP right now.
Well, on that note, they actually pick up the Weaver, which is quite a good late game. It sort of scales really well, and just a lot of physical damage to
Well,
get through
natural
the
Lincoln's builder too,
heroes.
which is pretty nice. So.
Yep, and of course, natural Lincoln's builder for the Doom, and you can sort of just kite around the fight and hunt the backline as well. So maybe zone the Dazzle out, force the Dazzle to grave himself. I think it's a really nice pickup in general.
No, I like the draft coming out from Team Tiger a lot here right now. Whoa, what? Okay, so I'm guessing...
It's probably Juggernaut mid, I think.
I don't... Well, H2O played the Ursa Bear over in the safe lane for first game.
Oh, yep. Okay.
So I'm not sure if that's...
they
they could swap around this. A lot of these teams don't have specific roles, like, necessarily carved out. They could swap and throw the Jug in the mid with the... This is... Oh, that lane is going to be nasty going up against Overloam on that Huskar. You're just going to be on fire nonstop.
Slug's sort of alright in lane against him. I mean, you can Dark Pact off the Burning Spheres, but that's not something you can just spam constantly.
Yeah.
And I think I like the Slug pickup in general. It contributes to the fight, but when he gets his Silver Edge, it kind of does the same thing as the Doom, disables the Berserker's Blood as well as the Spin. Good at hunting backliners, you can hunt the IO, the Witch Doctor, and you can latch onto the Weaver as well, but apart from that, it takes quite a bit of time for him to come online, so I think it's a bit greedy on no buyback gaming.
Well, that's especially, like, the Slark, in some cases, it's really nice because it's going to make sure, like, a good IO player knows you don't want to show yourself on the map. You want to keep yourself behind other people, and you just want to be showing up randomly, because you don't want to have them, you know, it creates that fear. If you can't see the eye on the map, like, you don't know where there's going to be, where you're going to have relocate ganks, any of that stuff. But, you know, other IO players, sometimes they get a little bit overambitious. They try to farm out a lane. I know sometimes I get greedy about that. But then, you know, Slark's going to come forward and he's going to be able to go ahead and jump on them if they're not with another person. So they need to be very careful of the Slark now, especially if he picks up the Shadow Blade. But we'll go ahead. We'll introduce the teams again. Welcome. This is Requiem Autumn, Team Tiger versus No Buyback Gaming. First game of the series. Went over to the side of Team Tiger. And we'll introduce Team Tiger since we're sitting here over on the Radiant. We've got Renee Descartes going to be playing our Weaver. We've got Krista's going to be playing the Witch Doctor. Copeless will be playing our Io. Reese will be playing our Axe. And Overloam will be playing our Huskar. On the side of the Dire, we've got the Doom, was going to be played by Missiek, who's already headed towards the headed towards the bottom lane to place his wards. We've got H2O. It looks like he will actually be playing the mid lane this time around as the Juggernaut. We've got Yajul going to be playing the Lion. Ragoth will be playing our Dazzle, and ooh, my camera like shifted all over like crazy. Marcellus will be playing the Slark.
Yeah, I think Team Tigers is going to get online at like 10-15 minutes with the Huskar and the Axe and just constantly siege towers and take fights. And no buyback gaming is going to be caught unready because they have quite a bit of greedy cores. I think that's just how the game is going to turn out. Unless no buyback gaming somehow stop their lanes and then just snowball from there.
I mean, they don't really have the greatest tower push, at least on the side of Team Tiger. Like, it's going to take a while for Weaver to get like his Deso and such. But they will be able to cause a lot of mayhem and push everyone else around here. This ward actually does get spotted out immediately.
Yeah, I think in the early game, if they just go as 5, Axe can just cut creep wave on behind tower, and Huskar can just right click, Weaver can right click as well. So I think they have sufficient push for like 20 minutes in when they can take tier 1s. But beyond that, they're going to have some problems until the Desolator comes online from the Weaver.
And they're actually going to let Weaver just solo this bottom lane. I like this a lot, actually. They're going to go for a really aggressive lane up here top using the Axe. They, of course, have the Io and the Witch Doctor, so they've got a lot of sustain here to keep the Axe, and they're just battling in the back lines here, this Witch Doctor, Io, Lion, Dazzle combo. But meanwhile, Marcellus really can't get anywhere close to this wave. Axe is just going to run at him. He's got the Helix, and the two supports are really just embroiled in their own battle. They get the slow off over here onto the Lion, and that speed boost, they might actually be able to kill him here. Shallow Grave will come out, so that means that Dazzle had to pick Shallow Grave instead of being very aggressive. If anything else, they cancel out. Oh, one more hit. One more hit! Witch Doctor will secure first blood. Meanwhile, on the tail end here, Marcellus is going to be forced back by Axe. He's taking a lot of tower damage, though. Doesn't have any heals available to him right now. Is going to have to rely on that Wisp to use his bottle and heal him up. But again, that's the power of having all the sustain in this one particular lane. Axe can afford to be very aggressive, and oh, he gets the call out, and they get the slow over onto the Slark. A stun will come in, one more hit, and Witch Doctor, what a man, what a doctor.
Yeah, this is very reminiscent of last game where they played the exact same style. Lots of sustain with the Axe just pressuring the tower, but this time around, unlike the Ursa, Slark doesn't threaten the Axe that much. He doesn't do that much burst damage in the early game. He has Essence Shift, but it's not nearly enough to actually just save himself. He does have an escape this time, but that can easily just be blocked off. On the other hand, though, the benefits for No Buyback Gaming is that now they have heroes with stuns and lots of sustain as well, instead of just a Lich and Warlock, so they can kind of stay in the lane and help out the Slark if he gets jumped on this time.
Axe might have bitten off a little bit more than he could chew. His supports are not there. They've got a lot of ways to stun him up, lock him down. Goes ahead, use the call. They need to get that IO over there, or the Witch Doctor, but he will get taken down. And I think that was maybe just a little bit too much of a rotation. I know they wanted to get that rune for Copeless, but I think Witch Doctor should have stayed behind during this. Lion will get the Earth Spike out. They're going to try to heal up the Witch Doctor, and that's another great thing about having this IO and the Witch Doctor in the same lane. That sustain will be able to heal up each other should the need arise. Lion actually is going to go ahead. He's going to miss his stun over here. Next goes for the call. A little bit too late. Doesn't quite get it off. Meanwhile...
Yeah, Slark can't even approach the creep wave.
Yeah, no way. Meanwhile, over in mid, we're seeing that Jug has picked up his bottle now. He spent a lot of his time on fire. He's actually sitting at 9 and 5 CS, whereas the Huskar sitting at 12 and 4. Pretty much what we expected. A bit of a fight going down here on the bottom lane. We have the Ensnare picked up from the Troll Summoner as the Raise dead as well. Weaver, though, currently leading in last hits. Oh, another call coming out, and Marcelo's just going to be a little bit faster. He anticipates it, gets the pounce off that. Whew, that Dazzle. Doing a lot of damage with that Shadow Wave. Oh, look at that Miniature Ravage hitting 3 heroes over here in the top lane. They're still just, you know, putting some chase over onto Reese. They've got a lot of sustain, though. I don't think they really want to fight into this.
Yeah, it's fairly even, I think, in the top lane. I think X has a slight advantage purely because the counter Helix does the pure damage, but...
Oh, he gets the call up over onto Marcellus, but Christus is in a lot of trouble here. They're going to try to follow him up into the back lanes. There's the IO giving up the heal, but it's not going to be quite enough. Oh, they're almost able to save him. Now everyone's kind of swapped on the wrong sides here. They need to maybe give chase to one of these supports. Slark is healing up on the back end. Copeless needs to be careful here. It looks like he's going to go for the Dark Pact, and they'll get the stun up over onto the Axe. Axe will be able to go ahead, get the call. There's going to be a rotation coming in from the Huskar. This could be very, very bad for them. They don't have the level 6 on the Huskar just quite yet. Healing will come out, though, and they want to go after the Slark. They just need to get a little bit more mana onto him, or not mana, rather, a little bit more damage. They'll be able to take off Ragoth in the meanwhile. And unfortunately, Axe is a little low here. I'm not sure he's going to be feeling confident enough to try to dive this tower at this time.
Yeah, that was alright, I think. They forced a Huskar rotation, giving Jug some space in the mid, just for a support kill, and they still managed to take out the Witch Doctor previously. So it wasn't worth Huskar rotating just for the Dazzle at that point.
Once he picks up his 6 too, this is going to be a big deal. Jug and them probably... Yeah, they're just about the same, though, despite everything. Jug going to be able to get himself the top bounty rune here. And that'll push him over, I believe. Almost to 6. And then that becomes a little bit difficult for the Huskar. He's got the double damage. He's so... Oh, he actually has 6.
Yeah, and...
He might have been able to go for a kill there.
Yeah, Jack definitely could have the chance, but he didn't go for the second point in Blade Dance, because he has to get that healing where he needs that sustain to just tank up the Burning Spears. And I think we're going to see more action in the top lane. They seem to be rotating behind tower.
Yeah, Reese is just running in with his face. He's chasing after this line. We're gonna see a TP come out though, so they need to be a little bit careful. Slark is very forward here. In comes the Jug with the level 6 and of course the double damage. So that's a full rotation. That's a huge win actually. Meanwhile, bottom lane though, Doom was able to secure himself the kill over onto the Weaver. Weaver of course not having his Lincolns quite yet. He does get doomed and isn't able to run himself away. Meanwhile, Axe now a little bit in the danger zone here. There's the, oh, not enough mana quite yet for that Blade Fury here, or rather the Omni Slash, sorry. Stun will come out and we'll just push him back, but, we lose the Doom in
Axe
the
is
bot lane.
hesitated there. Axe is hesitated there to get the call off, and I think that might have...
Oh, he gets the call off in the top lane, though. They're going to be able to take all of his mana. There's the overcharge coming out from Io, going to be able to easily replace, and they'll be able to get the kill on Slark. Maybe Lion too? Lion? He's got the Hex, or the Ear Spike rather. Call coming up 3, 2, 1. Nice spike coming out from Yadro. Might have saved his life. The call will still get used. We'll be hoping for some lucky helixes here. Io will come back in, heal him up, take down the trees while he's at it too, because you know, who doesn't like trees? And we'll try to man fight the Doom. There is no Doom up and running on him right now, so he's not quite as effective, although Io looks like he's in a bad position. They might want to just let him... Yeah, I would have spaced myself out there and let Io just tether and get out of that. But now they're going to have to go and just run themselves away. The healing ward. Axe going to be able to throw his body in front of the other heroes here. In comes the Huskar, though. Huskar has his level 6. We'll go and jump immediately onto the Slark. Slark is only level 4. He's not going to be able to get away from this. That's a lot of burning spears. Shallow Grave getting used, though, coming out from Ragoth. And then, oh, Axe is going to come right forward. He wants to go for the dunk. Won't actually get it, but they will be able to give chase. And look at this Weaver. He's just out for kill. He wants the blood of this Dazzle, because he knows that Shallow is down, and Huskar will be able to complete the kill here. Axe, meanwhile, I mentioned that about the dunk earlier. He is not level 6. I forgot about that. I thought he was after all the kills. Overcharge coming out here over onto the Huskar. You know, for all of their lack of tower pushing damage, they are still taking this tower pretty well.
Yeah, this is what we were talking about before. Like, as long as they go as 5, they can just completely take the towers. Towers are not a problem. But the fights so far, Axe now has the dunk, so the Shallow Grave is not a problem anymore either. But Shallow Grave and the Earth Spike from Lion has been doing so much work in all of these team fights. Lion constantly getting 2 to 3 heroes. Getting in the Earth Spike, and that's really pushing the Team Tiger back in every fight. But now, I don't think they can. They can just start shooting towers and
Doom needs to
rotate
be
5.
really careful here. He's gonna come forward. He dooms up the Axe, but in comes the Huskar. He's gonna be able to take down this Doom. Might be able to take down Ragoth as well. Ragoth will get taken, but that's a nice Omni Slash coming out from H2O here. Weaver's really desperate. He will be able to get that last hit, and he's gonna have to just run himself back a little bit. They're trying to heal up the Witch Doctor. Lots of bounces coming out. Weaver tried to take a couple pop shots. In the meanwhile, he still has Shikuchi up and available, but I think they need to back off from this particular fight.
Yeah, that was a 2-for-2 trade, and Slug is getting some farm in the bottom lane, so I think that was worth it for Team No Buyback Gaming, and I think
this
the biggest priority for them... Yeah, they have to back off here. The biggest priority for No Buyback Gaming here is just to get some items on the core so they can start joining
needs to turn
fights.
off his amp. Io slowly killing himself for no reason to the Weaver here. Sorry.
You're getting triggered as an IO player?
Yeah, I also know Copeless. So, it's kind of funny too, but, yeah, no. Nothing
Yeah, they
like
just need to get some items
no
up on the core heroes.
Well, I mean, with this particular draft, they've got a lot of early game aggression. This is kind of playing out the way that we expected it to. It looks like Slark's trying to do his best, though, in being able to, you know, try to get the farm that's necessary, but I'm a little concerned with the way that they're snowballing here on the side of Team Tiger. If he's even going to be able to, you know, he's still far ways off from getting a Shadow Blade here, and then he's going to have to try to go for picks, but if the team is constantly rolling together and they have a level advantage, it's going to be very difficult for him.
I think Jug should be the one, like, split pushing and split farming, and Slug should be holding the siege mid, because Jug just pushes way faster and does more tower damage than Slug in the early game. And I think that's more effective for them. They can just force rotations to towers and make a bit of space for the Slug in the mid lane. I think that would be the better option for them to go.
And this Weaver actually isn't too far ahead of the Slark, to be quite honest. He's got the Aquila, he's got Treads, and he's also picked up part of his Lincolns now. Slark does not have his Aquila yet, obviously. He's had a pretty rough lane. Jug coming forward here, he's gonna get lit on fire. And the Air Spy coming in, though, from the Lion will just make Overlum back off a little bit. They're grouping up over here in the corner. Doom's actually the one who's picking up wards now. Looks like... Interesting here, interesting. So, Doom is up and running yet again. They could try to go for a fight. Looks like Axe is just kind of getting some of his farm on down here. He's got his Blink Dagger now, and that's actually huge. That's good timing. 11 minutes.
Position 3.5 Doom.
Yeah, I know, I saw the words.
Lion, maybe. But yeah, it is actually very important to get the Blink Dagger up on Lion.
Oh, they're diving behind the tower here. Reese getting a little bit maybe too excited to go in. But they're pushing them all back here, and they're all split up, so they can definitely take this tower.
Yeah, that's a lack of creep wave clear on No Buyback Gaming, and they're not really able to hold up the pushes if they get sieged.
I mean, they don't have Doom right now. They don't have the Slark. They've got plenty of damage with the Huskar and the Axe, but it's like Io's gonna make his way top, give him one last bottle charge over onto this Axe before grabbing it. There's a regen rune bottom. Oh, that's like the Io's dream. That and Storm Spirit. But Reese standing nearby, he's in the trees. I'm guessing that Dazzle probably knows that he's there. So they need to be careful with oh, there goes the Axe. He misses the call though, unfortunately. And healing coming out immediately from Ragolf. They're going to be able to throw out the cast, get a couple bounces off. And they're just chipping away at this tower in the meanwhile. Although in the top lane, we see that the Weaver has been doomed. He may be being a little bit too aggressive here, being up in that jungle. Especially with no wards. I don't know why he was up there, personally.
I think they spotted the Doom mid, and Doom showed himself mid, and then TP to the top lane rotated. So that was good move by Doom, just hunting the Weaver in the backline while mid was being sieged. And I don't think they have any way to...
Well, these calls are just like seconds off, unfortunately. Very fortunate for the side of No Buyback Gaming, though.
They still managed to get the tower. I think it's just Axe trying to zone the enemy heroes out from the mid lane. And that was good enough. As even if they don't get the kill, they don't have to commit to the fight. They still get the tower, so it's worth it, I think.
Witch Doctor is very forward here. I'm not sure why he was all the way up there. But yeah, Weaver can't afford to be that aggressive until he's got his Lincolns. At least not on his own, anyways. He can go with the team as 5. I think that's a good idea. I'd actually like to see him pick up a Blightstone, just because they've been pushing a lot, and that affects the towers. But he definitely should not have been farming up in the enemy jungle without his Lincolns, without any sort of vision. That was just kind of silly on his part, I think. Although they know that Doom is down, so this is not a bad time to take fight.
I think they can just siege this tower. I think they can just siege this tower and just constantly pressure it like they did mid lane.
They do see that the Jug's standing nearby. They will be able to take down the ward. That would have been a really good call here, but unfortunately, they just waited maybe just a little bit too long. The Death Ward will get used over here. That's a huge ultimate down now. And Huskar's gonna just go ahead, jump himself over onto Doom. That's a couple stacks of Burning Spheres, but of course he's gonna get huxed up. He's gonna have to move himself back. He's got that armlet on him as well, so Witch Doctor really should probably stop healing him up. And Copeless just randomly turns on his overcharge. He's just really excited. Sometimes as ball light, you get very excited. This Axe is very forward. They use the Omni Slash, but they actually don't get the kill. There's this... Oh, the Weave is going to come out here. They're going to try to drain all the Axe's mana, but it's really not doing too much. A Shallow Grave gets used. Overlum's in a little bit of trouble here. They get the dunk off, but they're going to lose the Huskar in the process. And now Reese coming forward, getting yet another dunk. Might be able to turn around. He gets the call up over onto the Slark, even though he didn't have vision. Another dunk, triple dunk coming out from this Axe. Boom shakalaka. He's on fire.
That was so good by Axe. It was a bit late on the Doom because Huskar paid for it with his life. If they just managed to time that a bit better, I think Huskar would have lived and they could have just completely destroyed this tower. I think they're still going to get it. Doom is up in 15 seconds, has his ultimate ready. They do have the glyph available, so I'm not entirely sure they can finish this tower before they come back in for round 2.
Again, I would have liked to see the Weaver just pick up the Blightstone just for the value of it, but he has finished his Perseverance at this point. He'll be able to throw the bugs out, just kind of force them back, and I think they do need to just run out. Yeah, they'll doom the Witch Doctor here. It's being used on a support, so... Io coming in with the saves though, trying to keep him alive. This could be actually really, really good, although... Oh, Reese, the Finger of Death will get used over onto the axe here, and now Huskar is just perma-stunned. He's gonna go down. Weaver's in a lot of trouble here. They don't have the detection though. He's gonna be able to run himself out, but I think they might have wanted to just back off here. Copeless did drop off the Witch Doctor at home, but now he is a very dead ball of light. Oh, but Witch Doctor coming in, gonna be able to save his boy maybe, but that spin coming out will just totally negate the fact that he's got a cask up and running. He does not have a TP. This is probably the end of Christas. He does not have the Donker as well. Look at these jukes though. This Witch Doctor. He's a fighter, man. 3, 2, 1. He can throw out the donks, but it's not going to be enough just because Jug has got that spin going on, which is going to make him immune. But he's still giving him the jukes here. Like, this Witch Doctor is going to be a survivor, I think. I don't know. Meanwhile, in the background, we see that Lion's in a lot of trouble. The jukes are real coming out from this guy. This is actually really funny. Like, we need some Benny Hill music going on here. He constantly keep popping that stick. He's got mana boots on him as well. He's going to make it out. What a player. And that's the end of H2O.
Oh, he just lives through like 3 heroes in a tree line. I thought he was dead for sure.
Me too, right?
Oh, that's some War Dota plays right there.
Yeah.
So good.
That's definitely got to go on the highlight reel.
But apart from that, talking about the very previous fight in front of the tier 2 in the bottom lane, I think Wisp got overexcited and relocated the doomed Witch Doctor out way too early. I kind of left the rest of the team just with a 3v5 fight and kind of just cost the Huskar and the Axe their lives there. I think if the Witch Doctor just backed off a bit, I think he wouldn't have died to the Doom damage. He would have been able to heal himself up, come back into the fight, and
Witch Doctor didn't die
Io
during
would
that
have been
fight.
there to sustain.
Witch Doctor
No, he didn't.
die.
He got relocated out.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got relocated out. If he just stayed without getting relocated out, I don't think he wouldn't die either. Still, he would have survived. So Io can actually sustain another hero and still have a 5v5 fight, as opposed to Wisp relocating the Witch Doctor and then having a 3v5 fight.
I mean, that's a lot of ultimates down, though. Now they're going to be able to easily take this tower. Oh, and Axe will jump in, get a 2-man call. Nice play coming out from here. The bugs will come out, though. Use the heal, and that's a lot of damage getting used over here onto the Axe. They'll try to split it up. They'll get used over onto the Huskar. Doom's going to come out, though, over onto Huskar. They're going to turn around, try to put out some damage. They get off the Donker, though, and they're going to be able to get off the Witch Doctor ultimate that he was holding on during that entire time. Going to be able to clean up 2 heroes here. Marcella's in a lot of trouble here. Is he going to be able to make it out? He does fall. That was one heck of a fight.
It was quite even in trades. Experience going the way of Tiger, Team Tiger. I think if they just backed off after the tower, I think that would have been a good move as well. Axe just kind of jumped into 2 heroes. The creep wave was coming in, but there was way too much counter initiation from the line with the Hex, and then Galmi Slice. They kind of picked off the core, kind of dragged the rest of the team into the fight as well.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're an Axe player, you go big or you go home usually. Like, you have to have that kind of a mentality, I feel. Definitely needed a little bit more communication, but I can definitely understand why he ran in with his face. You know, they're grouped up. There's 2 guys. That's too tempting for an Axe player. That's why I'm not allowed to play Axe also, because I am definitely that type of player where I'm like, oh my god, it's happening, and then I turn around and I ask my team, like, team, where were you? And they're like, we were on the other side of the map. What are you doing? And I'm like,
it was actually really well timed. The creep wave was coming in perfectly as well, but the Weaver wasn't ready, and the rest of the team just weren't in position for the follow-up. I think that just bit a problem. Apart from that, it was very well executed. They got the tower, they got an even trade. Yeah, it was all good.
Man, can I talk about how much I love this ward spot? Although Axe is in a little bit of a not a great area right here. There is the Dazzle standing nearby. Gonna try to heal him up. There's a lot of damage. They don't have the dust or any sort of detection though, so Slark will make it out with his life. And they will know now that everyone over on the side of the Radiant, except for Weaver, is now in their jungle, so they'll have to be a little careful here. And they'll be able to get the D ward off over on the spot as well.
Yeah, they're gonna try to siege tower, but yeah, those ward spot you were talking about is really good, especially if you're sieging the tier 2. Gives lots of vision for any initiation and wraparounds that come your way. And yeah, you can just take advantageous fights, and vision is actually very important in a lineup like this. Witch Doctor needs to position himself so that he doesn't get caught, and if you're the Dire team, you need to be catching the Witch Doctor while he's channeling the ultimate. And Axe, of course, with the blinks as well. So, yeah, that ward is really nice for both teams there.
I really like too, I was thinking about it as well, you know, they were positioning themselves, oh, this Huskar needs to be very, very careful here. Slark gonna go in, he's got that Echo Saber, we'll get a couple clicks off, but again, he's got that armlet over on the Huskar, and I think they might just want to reset, maybe not take this fight, although H2O, he was really thinking about it, he was gonna get really aggressive on this. Io goes ahead, she TP's over to the mid. I was thinking though, you know, we have this Weaver who's doing the split pushing down in the bot lane here. Can easily get recalled or, you know, relocated by the IO, so they're going to be able to keep their lanes really split out. And I apologize for this ambulance going on in the background.
Yeah, the ambulance is coming for all the heroes that Huskar destroyed in this game. I think that's about it. I like this movement from Radiant team. Actually, they're fighting.
Yeah, it looks like Lion will get caught out here. They'll be able to throw out the Battle Hunger, but they're able to take him down. The Doom will come out over onto the Huskar here. This is looking a little bit scary for him. He's going to have to just back himself off, reset. They do have a lot of people with healing, though, that'll be able to kind of come forward and provide some support. The Witch Doctor uses his ultimate, though. Where is the Io? Io got taken down. I didn't even see that. Witch Doctor will get taken down as well. Now the Weaver going to have to run himself back. They do have the Axe nearby. He doesn't have much mana, though. He jumps into all of these heroes, but they'll be able to take down the Doom. They're able to take down, again, the Huskar, and eventually they will be able to just chip down that Axe. That's so important that they have the Io alive for these fights. I didn't even see where he got jumped, to be quite honest.
Yeah, the Io got Omni Slashed right in the middle of the tier 2, but then he moved away towards the secret shop, which I think was a bit of a bad decision. I mean, Huskar was doomed, and he thought that people were going to focus on Huskar, but the Omni Slash just ended up bouncing to him. He got separated from the creep wave and then just took the whole brunt of the Omni Slash. Really just brought him down instantly, and without that sustain, the Huskar couldn't just keep fighting through the Doom as well, so just kind of toppled over one by one. The Axe also blinked in to try and save the Huskar. That would have been actually really good, but he just simply didn't have the mana for Berserker's Call. Couldn't get the heat off the Huskar and just fell apart one by one, I think.
We're going to have the Manta finished up now over onto the Jug. And interesting to note, too, despite the fact that these fights, you know, in the early game were going very, very strongly in favor of the side of Team Tiger, we're seeing that the net worth actually is going in favor of the side of No Buyback Gaming. We've got 9.6k over on the Slark and 8.9k over on the Jug here. So they're definitely catching up. We've got the Echo Saber Silver Edge completed over on the Slark. Again, I mentioned that we've got the Manta that's going to be coming out for the Jug. And Lion will be able to get his Blink Dagger now, so they're coming online here on the side of No Buyback.
Yeah, that's
Relocate
actually such
coming
a big
in
problem
with
for
the
Team
Axe.
Tiger.
I don't think they're going to be able to catch anyone, though. Yep, running around in circles. Would like to see them carry Dust on the Wisp. They actually... Oh, boy, they leave Axe down here by himself. That's, that could have gone very badly for Axe.
That's a really ambitious strategy. He might actually get caught out here. They don't have the vision there, though. And all these items coming online on No Buyback Gaming is such a problem because it's giving them fighting strength. And if you look at the draft, like, they have so much better late game than Team Tiger, especially because Huskar tends to fall off against physical damage like Jug in the late game. And Slug as well, of course, now with the Silver Edge can start disabling the Axe in the team fights, reduces effectiveness, reduce the Huskar's effectiveness as well. And not only that, he can start hunting the backline, like we talked about before. Without the IO, it's hard to sustain the Huskar or the Axe for the fight. And without the Witch Doctor, that's a lot of physical damage gone out the window.
Oh, he's able to grab the Jug here, but I don't think it's going to be quite enough. In comes the... Oh, they have Lion standing nearby, though. He's going to immediately get the Hex off, and there's going to be the Doom coming out over onto the IO. This is not looking good. IO needs to just hang out here by the Witch Doctor, and they need to probably just reset now that they know that Doom is down. But on the back end, they're going to lose the Huskar. They'll lose the Lion as well to all the Burning Spheres. And This Doom has a Blink Dagger, but Io, he's trying to heal himself up. He could try to tether himself away. We'll be able to go and connect over onto Kritz's. They'll be able to go ahead, hit the bottle. They use the bugs, and Io actually going to be able to TP himself home. The jukes coming out from Team Tiger are pretty ridiculous right now. That was almost a very good kill for this Doom, but I didn't even realize he picked up the Blink Dagger too.
Yeah, the Slug's kind of hunting around. He's going to try to see the Weaver, but not going to result in anything.
I would like to see the supports on the side of the Radiant putting out more sentry wards now that they know that they've got a Silver Edge over on the Slark.
Yeah, and the Blink on the Doom actually did so much that fight. Deleted the Wisp from the fight for quite some time and just owned the other heroes out, the Axe, the Witch Doctor, and the Wisp.
Looks like they're gonna go and dive this tower and possibly get a kill over onto Yajul here. They'll go for it. Oh, the blink though! Look at Huskar, he's all the way in the base. This is maybe not the right play here. Wisp cannot get to him, although he will be able to grab just in time, bring him back to base. Nice play coming out from Koplis there. I wasn't sure if the tether was gonna be able to reach him.
Yeah, the Wisp actually just saved him so much. So well played by Lion, just completely baiting the Huskar into the base. That would have been a dead Huskar for sure. Lion might have traded himself for that, but would have been dead for sure.
Yeah, definitely would have been worth it for the side of team No Buyback Gaming there.
And it was quite ambitious of Team Tiger to relocate onto the high ground when, like, it shows on the minimap where they're relocating, so Lion, with his awareness, could actually just know where they're going to be approaching from. And I think it's just better to just relocate directly on top of the hero that you're ganking.
Not sure why Witch Doctor says he's left dust in the base. I'm not sure why he's not holding that himself here. So he doesn't have the wards on him either at this point in time. They do have a nice ward over here placed by the Dire. They're going to give him a lot of intel, seeing what items people have. Blade Mail completed over on the Axe now, of course, and the rest of the team just kind of positioning themselves down in this bottom lane. I like that Weaver's carrying his own dust. Aya's carrying dust, though, as well. Looks like they're going to try to get the jump over here onto the line. This time he won't be able to blink himself away. Blade Mail coming out, and the dunk. And, yeah, Jewel will sacrifice himself to the Axe.
Yeah, just a very quick pickup for the Axe. Apart from that, I don't think there's going to be much action except for solo skirmishes. I think both teams are content on just getting some more items, because after all the constant fighting on Team Tiger, I think they're just slightly behind on the items. 5,000 gold deficit, and I think they're just willing to catch up on the next big items. Maybe like a BKB on Huskar, or maybe even a Satanic, and maybe the Desolator on Weaver, and then they're willing to start fighting. So I think we're just going to see a bit of downtime in this match here.
Would like to see the Huskar pick up a BKB. I feel like that would help out quite a bit as well. It looks like they're going to try to go either get a gank or maybe do Roche here. Koplis going to go and grab that bounty room. If they're paying attention, they'll know that somebody smoked up moving their way over to the Roche pit. But Axe standing nearby in the trees, going to be able to jump on them if they try to make any sudden movements towards them. Witch Doctor coming nearby, he grabs the other bounty room. That's two bounty rooms now that have magically disappeared, and I'm surprised that no one has noticed over on the side of the Dire here.
Lion's on the X. And he's gonna blink away. I think they realize that they're gonna rush.
Yeah, I see the Dazzle's kind of running around in circles like, oh, are we doing this, guys? Are we doing this? Jug coming forward. This could be very, very bad for them. Jug has the Omni Slash up, 2 points in it, but they'll let him get the Roche. And Huskar will grab it. Io is currently still hanging out in the pit. Doesn't want to let them know that he's there, I'm guessing. Healing will come out, and they've decided that they don't want to fight into an Aegis.
Yeah, I'm surprised the Dire team didn't check. I mean, they sort of spotted out the Axe just standing there. And typically the Axe wouldn't have been warding in the mid lane. If it was a support, you'd assume it was warding. But after just standing there, they just didn't check the Roshan.
Well, I'm
that
surprised.
was pretty unusual.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised because they do have this this ward over here, which is giving them a lot of intelligence about what's going on in the jungle, and there was no one visible. So generally, if there's no one there was really no one in the mid lane either. You generally think, okay, they're either smoke ganking or they're roshing. We should get together. We should go check Roche. And they kind of were, I guess they were too busy thinking about, getting items and farming. Especially too when you consider that the bounty room just magically disappeared twice down in that area.
Yeah, and they had the vision observer ward up on that cliff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now it's just expired, so just pointing that out. X actually goes for a Dagon here.
What?
I'm actually so surprised. I'm not entirely sure. I think it's just to quickly burst down maybe the Doom or the Slark before they can just get out of Berserker's Call and just quickly try to get the dunk on them. That's the only explanation I can think of. Apart from that, it's good to hunt the backline maybe, just quickly some burst damage. Apart from that, I have no idea why you would go a Dagon in this Axe.
Yeah, I'm a little confused by that pickup as well. But, it is Reese. He kind of plays Dota on his own terms. I've gotten it on Io before. I mean, there's nothing better than being a laser disco ball, but not really on Axe usually. Well, they're gonna go for the push on the top
tower.
Burst.
Yeah, they're just gonna siege now with the Aegis. They can just keep doing what they do. They don't know, the Dire team doesn't know they have the Dagon, and if they're not careful, the Dazzle can just completely miss the Grave timing, because typically you want to wait till the last second to get the Grave off. You don't see the Dagon, you can just
This
completely
lion,
miss it, because
oh
it just
man.
comes out.
No, absolutely. You know, you got to be paying a lot of attention to when you can put that grave out. You don't want to put it out way too early, but at the same time, if you do it too late, all of a sudden Axe has. I mean, it doesn't really matter though, because I mean, Axe has dunk. It goes through shallow.
You're
So.
completely right. I completely forgot about that. Just ignore me.
No, that's fine. It's fine. We're casters. We think up on the fly, and sometimes, you know, we forget things. It happens. No judgment.
Yeah, apart from that, they're just taking the tier 2, and next up is high ground. And yeah, they just wait for items, I think. Weaver almost there to the Desolator, and I think that's a sign to push high ground once it gets the Desolator off.
Absolutely. Doom actually has double damage over here. It's about to be about halfway done. I don't know if they want to take this fight, though, this far out from their tower. They pop a sentry ward down, though. They're going to be able to keep tabs over on this Weaver. Aegis is going to be reclaimed in 2 minutes, so I think it's time we see Overloam throw his body at the enemy team here. Slark making his way back right now as well. Lion needs to be careful. He's very, very forward here. In comes the Axe. Nice stun, though, coming up from him. And these Jug Illusions will put out a little bit of damage. Overloam just really needs to just put himself right up front and center. Let them take him down. Although Slark coming in the back lines, he's looking for either the IO or the Witch Doctor. We'll jump on immediately over onto the IO. IO is yelling out, please guys, help me, not like this. He's got the mech. He's going to be able to maybe stick bottle it up. Oh, but he gets both of the supports over here using the Omni Slash. The Doom will come out now over onto Reese. He's going to have to run himself out. IO will buy back. I think he wants to come back in, try to save out some of these guys. They still have the Aegis up and running, though, over onto this Huskar. They're using a lot to take him down. In comes the IO, though. He's got the reload up, but he doesn't have the tether. He's going to get taken down, and now Huskar, round 2, he's not looking like he's in a great position here. The armlet toggles are real, but they're not going to be enough, and H2O has a rampage.
Oh my god, what a play. The 2 supports just died instantly to the Omni Slash, like the Wisp and
They ran away from the creep wave again. They ran away from the creeps, they ran away from their team.
Yeah, the Axe was in the middle of a creep wave and they got the call off on the Slark. But then they tried to just distance themselves to get a better position, but getting that better position really resulted in them dying because of the Omni Slash bounces. And the Wisp Buyback, relocating in a bit too far, a bit too early. And then the Huskar, he got tethered before he lost the Aegis, and the tether suddenly went on cooldown. Huskar is dead. They turn to focus their attention on the Wisp. Wisp dies, and then Huskar just falls right after.
That was a lot of buybacks that were expended during, or not a lot actually, it was just the IO, right, that did the buyback? Let's check.
Yeah, just the IO that did the buyback.
But this is one of those things we were talking about, you know, this draft coming out from the side of Team Tiger was great for like the early mid game, but as it gets late game, this gets a lot scarier for them. They've got a Basher up and running over on the Slark. He's going to be getting probably an Abyssal eventually. You've got, of course, the Jug, who's just dishing out lots of damage. And has a lot of room to grow. He's actually got Sentry Wards sitting in his inventory. This team, man, I love it. I love that they buy their supports items.
Yeah, and that was one thing that I just want to quickly point out as well. They tried to push mid without a Sentry Ward, and then Slark just kind of snuck up and then got the jump on the Axe, and then I think Counter Helix was disabled for that duration because of the Silver Edge, and then once the Axe got the call off, it wasn't doing much, and then that's one of the reasons the fight was lost. And I really like the pickup from Slark as well. I think he's going for an Abyssal as opposed to a Skadi, because you can't really slow down the Weaver if he's being hit by a Skadi, and it's really good to just control the Huskar as well in a fight. Slark actually going on the Weaver.
Doesn't have any detection though, so he needs to be very, very careful. Both sides actually. Doesn't look like, well, Weaver still has a little bit of dust on him actually. He does have one charge.
Yeah, it's not going to result in any kills here.
No,
but
although
yeah,
Lion,
the Abyssal.
ooh! The jump comes in for the call, he will miss. He gets the Battle Hunger off over onto the Lion though, and H2 is thinking about going in. They've got the Slark standing nearby, they don't have any sort of detection. They know they've got that Dagon, and they'll jump around, they'll get the call a little bit before the jumping here, and the stuns will come out. In comes the Doom, he dooms Overloam immediately here on the back line. Slark gonna be able to take down Copeless, and the jumps coming out from this, this Jug, just slicing up everyone. Oh my goodness, that is 3 heroes down on the side of Team Tiger. And buyback status on the Huskar, do not have buyback on him. Io does not have buyback, he bought back earlier in the fight. And the Witch Doctor, no buyback as well, so this is easily a tower for them. Tower and Rax.
Yeah, I think no buyback gaming is just outscaling them at this point. Huskar is constantly getting doomed. He's not getting those burning spears out. He had the satanic available, but I mean, even without the eggs, he's not actually.
Oh, there's a nice call coming in here. They're going to be able to land a stomp. Reese is in a lot of trouble. They're just slicing him up. He just doesn't have enough health. They're able to take down Weaver as well. H2O is godlike. Marcellus is dominating, and this is looking very bad for Team Tiger right now. I think we're going to be seeing at least another reign of Rax and a tower here.
They're going to have to rotate for the tier 2. But yeah, the Doom just going ham on every fight. He just blinking up, dooming the Huskar. Huskar can't get his burning spears out. He can just attack. Berserker's Blood is not disabled, but apart from that, Infernal Blade actually just doing percentage damage of max HP, so it's really good against the Huskar as well. And
I don't know why
yeah, if the Huskar can continue this fight.
No, absolutely, absolutely. Oh, the GG well played actually comes out right now from the side of Team Tiger. I think they've realized that they, like you said, were getting outscaled at this point, and that they wouldn't really be able to come back from this. I don't know, I feel like they might have been able to take maybe 1 or 2 more fights, but they'll actually go with the split here and call the GG. So, split coming out from Team Tiger, and no buyback gaming, split into 1-1. I'm not sure what that means for the actual standings, I didn't actually check that. But congrats to both teams and GG. What were you saying though, MP? I'm sorry, I cut you off.
Yeah, they could have definitely lasted a few more fights, but it's gonna be really optimistic to think that you can just completely turn it around. So
Absolutely.
I mean, you will be 2 racks down. Yep.
Well, thank you so much for being my co-caster today. This was a lot of fun. We'll have to do it again sometime.
Thank you for having me.
And that's going to be it for Requiem tonight, guys. However, I do have a land that I'm going to be casting at around 7 p.m. this evening. That should be a lot of fun. So if you're not doing anything later tonight, you want to come hang out on the stream, definitely come check us out. Again, that's going to be at 7 p.m. So have a great rest of your day otherwise, and GG.